Back at it once again. 9:16 a.m. on a Sunday.
You really never even listen to my album.
The Lord's Day.
Yeah. You don't know how I really rap, man?
Never knew it, bro.
Shit.
That's what I'm saying. All this shit is new. Like, I know music. This shit hard.
He wanted me to be doing what I'm doing right now. Let's go. So we at it. Right now, they having a listening party for your boy Dabrand. So all the music you're hearing right now probably gonna be here. As they bringing it up. So yeah, let's go. Let's get into it. Let's go pop.
Miss my bros, I ain't gon' lie. I was in the middle nights in Vegas. You was fucking on all them crazy hoes. Yo, them nights you saved me, bro. Swear to God, we had crazy goals. Swear to God, we was crazy close. If you said it go, it was on the go. If I told him to shoot, then it's bye-bye. But he can't get away, won't cut ties. I'll be doing life on the outside. My bro, and I hate the fact I can't with them Ralph in the P and tie in too deep in the little G's got straight to me. Still to this day I bang with them, never switched up. I'm the same nigga. Should be in Miami lane, switch out son on these lame niggas like. Why everybody wanna be the man, wanna be fly like Peter Pan, but when it's time to go sit down, the first ones will take their stand.
Let's go. Drop y'all flags, man. Where y'all showing AB support from? Drop y'all flags. There's no we're coming back, man. More music, more everything. I want to hear the one with Boosie, though.
That's too crazy.
Yeah? Don't play? Play?
That's crazy.
Say this with Boosie.
I didn't know you had these many songs.
Dang. That's what I'm saying. Now, everything he always loved to do, he can just put it. You already did the work, man. Let's just drop it. Just re-drop this shit.
This
AI, man, bro. This ain't no AI. Drop y'all flags, drop y'all flags. Mexico.
Jamaica. Into the waters of the rappers.
America.
Let's go. We need that competition.
We don't do no fake love over here, man. It's one thing you can't fake in life is energy, man. Yes, sir.
Over 300K before giving up, I'ma die my whip. All beef over hoes, can't die for a bit. Never told on the soul, don't care about the kid. Not a mill on my neck, or a mill on my wrist. 100K in my ear, yeah, young nigga rich like yeah. I'm on out of control, I be fucking these hoes, a lot of niggas be out of control. Look, you can go play with your nose and put lace in your smoke, you'll never be high as me. I'm on my own website, gotta leave. She make you pay for it, I fuck for free. She said I was better, she made you pay extra, so basically you pay for me.
W chat, WAB chat. Salvador en la casa, Honduras en la casa. ¿Cómo dice? Yeah, y'all really think I look like French Montana? I think he look like me, man. Fuck that.
You don't understand. I'm amazing with this rap shit.
Nigga, I look like this before French, nigga, because French ain't had no beard 10 years ago. I had a beard 10 years ago. Hey, man. Hey, we gotta call Boosie. He'll do the video.
I look at the stars.
It's an AB pour water on D. Oh shit. WAB, Chad, WAB. Who the fuck is Burn Poe?
Start, nigga. Nigga. We Latin them. Like Dabrand. Like
Healthcare members.
Mentally drunk. Feel like I'm a flight of
Hold on. Damn, nigga. He hit it that melody, huh? Yeah, he surprised niggas every day.
Make sure that my family straight. He said, you don't understand. I'm amazing with the rap shit.
You know what's crazy? Every song you've been in pocket. Every time. I ain't heard you fuck up or nothing, not one. Everything's like a lot of this album hard.
Athlete, yeah. D.
Who the fuck is Poe, nigga?
Three,
I look like
yeah.
Poe. Burn
Yeah.
Poe. Nah, the melody of this shit go crazy, bro. When I listen to his music, I'm listening to like what we can really do, like, you know what I'm saying? Nigga been training, nigga.
Like Dabrand. Like Dabrand. Mentally drunk. Feel like I'm a
Hold on. Damn, nigga. He hit it that melody.
straight.
Yeah, he surprised niggas every day.
Make sure that my family straight.
That's wrong?
He said,
Oh, that's what they say play the AB wrong.
don't do fake. You lazy. I'm two-faced. Blood on
That was hard, bro.
Athlete, yeah. Me. I won't rest free, yeah.
Burn
Yeah,
Poe.
I wanna judge.
The melody of this shit go crazy, bro. When I listen to his music, I'm listening to like what we can really do, like, you know what I'm saying? Nigga been training. I'm saying that. Melody. You make a song with Drake if you want. Shine away, nigga.
I'm on my grind today. Know the beats I gotta pay. My brother got a slide today. Make sure that my family straight. When they say they crime, man. I know what they mean.
I ain't gonna lie, this is my favorite one, bro. That's Ross? This and my bro. Oh, that's what they say play the AB wrong.
That's not my bros, baby. Eve, nigga. Blood on the leaves, nigga. Black bezel. Balenciaga. I won't wrestle.
That's
My
hard.
homie
You gotta work with, like big producers right now and all that.
Bluetooth disconnected.
And you know, TikTok.
All my niggas pearls. Feel like I'm a fly away.
Nigga, I'm telling you, melody. You can make a song with Drake if you want.
I'm on my grind today. Know the beats I gotta pay. My brother
Hey,
got
nigga being real, but I know about music. I swear to God, if it was ass,
so like my family straight. When they say they crime pay, I know what they mean when I say they crime
I ain't gonna lie, this
pay.
is my favorite one of the album. This and my bros.
Man, that my bros crazy.
That's some. But the melodies, the way you did these melodies, nigga, you can make some hits, nigga. I promise.
But no, I got heat. That my bro play my bros game.
You just gotta work with like the big producers right now and all that. You get right in, bro.
It's me again. On your timeline, another prize picks ahead.
And then you know TikTok lit now. So if you make some TikTok music and all that, crazy though.
They say Dominican nigga gotta be pregnant.
Yeah, they cutting me up, man. They be hating on me.
He's sucking dick.
Hey, they gonna be real, but I know about music. I swear to God, if it was ass or like if you.
Hallelujah time. And one night he earned the stripes. Say, I remember them nights they had no heat. Couldn't see. Please, nigga.
1, 2.
You got
1,
that.
2, 1, 2.
Nigga be big in it. Nigga be big in it.
Wife had a time in here last night. She
But
went
the
in.
people that
She
nigga
broke it.
you know, who did the shit? It's like,
Crazy. But all right.
who did nigga right now you're out of business, nigga. Hallelujah time. And one night he earned the stripes. I remember the night he had no heat. Please, nigga.
You got that one.
Nigga be big in it. Nigga be big in it. But you gonna be with a nigga that, you know, who did the shit. It's like, who did nigga right now you're out of prison, nigga.
Damn, bro. Yo, this nigga's really good, bro. That's crazy.
My brother is here, nigga.
Damn.
So you're not gonna say sorry?
Baby.
But you hurt my feelings, G, and then you
What?
try to kick me and my friend out. Why you ain't gonna check out
She's trying to make something out of this.
what you did? I don't like
Baby, you said
you
what, baby? Well, come to me then. Come
push
to
me
me.
out of the bed like you push me. Is that you
Man.
keep fucking playing?
All right, come to me. Listen.
You still haven't even
I wanted you to be here. I'm still up because you ain't here. I'm hurt.
I wanted to be there too, but you hurt my feelings, G, and then you try to kick me and my friend out like because I got upset because of what you did. I don't like that.
All right, well, come to me then. Come here.
I just made it alone. Like, what are you talking about?
All right,
You said sorry.
man. I'll talk to you in person.
You supposed to make you feel some
Bye.
What that mean?
You supposed to pull up on it?
No.
You supposed to make you feel some type of way or some shit?
Yeah.
He thought you supposed to pull up on her or something?
That bitch gonna fuck the shit out of me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this bitch right here. Hey!
Look at Dean. Look. Dean look like. Oh shit. It says STJ Cruz. That's crazy. I got a whole son, man. I'm a man. I love women. You on the thing? How are we both on it? Yo, you on the thing? How did they even switch like that? Damn, Dior, they trying to say I'm zesty now, bro. Like, STJ Cruz. That's crazy. Like Spanish, man. Like, I got a whole son, man. I'm a man. I love y'all, man. I love women. You know Dominicans, right? We're the Spanish black. How are we both on it? Yo, you on the thing, nigga? We 48% black. We European, and we're Taino Indians. That's what makes it Dominican. Yeah. How did they even switch that? You going in? Let me see what else. Damn, Dior, they trying to say I'm zesty now, bro. You know Dominicans, right? We the poppy. I know black poppy to chat.
Album was crazy.
Nah, that shit was hard, bro. Nigga, that's Zaytoven, nigga. They should make you one of them. Come on, he said.
Some big shit.
Poppy, I know black. Poppy, I know black. Shit sound like I need a Gucci on it. W. Say you should record right now.
She on some real shit.
Say W Young Dove. W Young Dove. Nigga, that's Zaytoven, nigga. Nigga, see his baby mama bought him a house. Right? Or what? That nigga Gomez, you don't even know me, Gomez.
Oh, you ain't get shit. What?
Come on, he said. We playing this shit, so when you come drop the new music,
Some big shit.
they gonna have to respect it because you've been doing it. I ain't saying new. You been did it already. Now you can just do it for fun now. And let AB go top 10 on the Billboard, nigga. They gonna eat that shit up.
New shit.
I'm telling you. It's gonna be way better like I need a Gucci on.
New shit.
They say you should record right now.
When you buy LG, you get so much more than just appliances. You get the latest innovations, like a range that's
Said W Young Dolph. W Young Dolph. Yeah, let's see his baby mama bought him a house. Right? Or wife? Yo, that nigga Gomez, why you so mad at me, man? You don't even know me, Gomez. We playing this shit, so when you come drop the new music, they gonna have to respect it.
That's crazy. They just took that video right down before our eyes. Something went wrong. I was just saying, watching this shit live. Look, both my shits is blank. Fucking with this bitch ass nigga. Look, I go to something else.
This is General William Sullivan with an emergency message. I'm speaking to you from a CDC clean zone.
As we was watching, they left the pin nail up. They took it. It's gone. Cause nigga was playing his own music. It's like these niggas is haters, son. Like I'm saying, like I was saying, I put the Scarface shit on my shit the other day. I'm like, it came on like that. Scarface shit. Yo, look at the bad guy. Then I put my, and after that I ain't do nothing but play all my music. And they flagged it, like copyright. I'm like, what the? So what was it? The Scarface, or is it my music? Cause now I'm starting to feel like they flagging independent niggas.
Yeah, and I let it peace with them. So people got T.I. all the motherfuckers letting them with the book.
I think that's what they doing right now.
Trying to take over from celebrities, man.
Yep.
So they got like a contract with each other, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Getting you out.
We could play your shit.
And now it's saying it's blocking now.
All of a sudden now you can't even play your shit unless you get a deal or some shit with one of these niggas.
From Steven Spielberg.
What?
K just signed that contract. K just signed like $1 billion. Yo, you don't even know how much the fit is. She could play Cardi back triple time. She's the next. She signed a contract with Wendy Williams people. They trying to make her the next Wendy Williams. You're gonna see Tasha on prime time.
Shut that shit down.
Something that Tasha didn't want to do. Remember, Tasha did not want to sign to no label. She wanted to stay independent. But now with this Cardi shit, that Cardi's trying to take her husband. Cardi got Cardi went to the judge and the judge died trying to take her husband. Because how Tasha sold the house to the husband? Because she had to sell the court. She was gonna pay Cardi back with the house. They put the house up for sale, and guess what? She sold it to her whole husband for $0. So it's still in the house. So Cardi found out all that shit. They guarded all her paperwork, everything, yo. Tasha's crazy. And you know she put.
Put it back.
Yeah, you're lying. You know that she Sent her shit to Africa.
They ain't playing no music.
It's silent. That's some bullshit.
That's it. Maybe.
But yeah, that shit's crazy, right? Now Tasha is on here. Take that. I applaud her, man. She said, I'm still talking about you, your husband, and anybody. I don't give up. She showed her gangster. That's what I expected, Tasha.
She keeps spinning. Look.
Tell me, I was DJing and that.
Press 1 if you would like to call you back.
Creating custom clothing with Tap Stitch is simple. Start by choosing a garment, then click Design Now.
Goldman Sachs filed its Q1 2026 13F on May 15th, just 10 days ago. The same bank that held $152 million in spot XRP ETFs 4 months ago now holds zero. Not reduced, not trimmed, zero. Every last share. Today I'm going to tell you what that filing actually says, what Goldman
Bring it back.
for you driving XRP community enthusiasm right now.
Why go this crazy?
You ready? Y'all ready?
You will not be able to unsee it. Before we get into the filings, two things happened over the long U.S. weekend that are worth knowing about. The U.S. holiday weekend saw a two-act story unfold. Bitcoin dropped below $76,000 Friday on Iran war fears, recovered Saturday on peace deal news, and is sliding again this morning because Iran says there's no deal yet. ETH, XRP, and Sol moved with it. They always do. This marks the second consecutive week of BTC outflows, bringing the total to over $1 billion. And Vitalik spent his weekend on X explaining why the Ethereum Foundation is shrinking and promising it will sell less ETH. This matters because the Ethereum Foundation punches above its weight. It holds just 0.16% of all ETH, but its sales and decisions move markets and set the cultural tone for Ethereum. The foundation is generally seen as the central authority of Ethereum. That sentiment is something Vitalik continues to vigorously fight against. Both of those are institutional behavior stories, and institutional behavior is exactly what we're going to dig into. Let's get into it. First up, the Goldman Sachs shift in XRP holdings. Like all large institutional investors, Goldman Sachs is required to file a quarterly holdings report with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, their SEC Form 13F. They tell us exactly what a large institution holds at the time of filing. So, when Dr. Felix Farsider 2346 left a comment in my recent XRP video about large institutional investors loading up on XRP, I went to the 13Fs. In the fourth quarter of 2025, Goldman held $152.2 million across 4 XRP ETFs. In the first quarter of 2026, Goldman held 0. The $152.2 million last year was held across 4 XRP ETFs, $39.8 million at Bitwise, $38.5 million in Franklin Templeton, $38 million in Grayscale, $35.9 million in 21 shares. Goldman was the single largest disclosed institutional holder of spot XRP ETFs on the planet. At the time, that $152 million represented roughly 73% of all disclosed institutional XRP ETF holdings combined. The community called it institutional adoption. Forbes ran the headline. Goldman Sachs revealed as top XRP ETF holder. The narrative was set. This context is largely missing from crypto reporting, though. Goldman didn't just liquidate XRP. Goldman also fully liquidated its Solana ETF position that same quarter and cut its Ethereum exposure by approximately 70%, leaving only about $114 million in BlackRock's Ethereum ETH-A. On Bitcoin, though, Goldman's Bitcoin ETF position, it's close to $700 million across BlackRock and Fidelity, and it was essentially untouched. That is not a crypto exit. That is a concentration. Everything else goes, Bitcoin stays. Goldman hasn't said why. So, what can we tell about Goldman's actions? The answer is in the structure of the position. Bloomberg intelligence analysts James Seyfert and Eric Balchunas noted at the time that the XRP ETF investor base was overwhelmingly retail, not institutional, and characterized institutional participation as facilitation rather than directional conviction. The Q1 outflow kind of supports that. This was not a long-term bet on XRP. When the facilitation window closed, their position came off their books. 1 quarter in and out. There's still another layer to this. While Goldman was selling off roughly 73% of all disclosed institutional XRP ETF holdings, XRP ETFs experienced net inflows. That means not only was the Goldman position bought up, but more was as well. The week Goldman's exit was disclosed, XRP ETFs posted a $60.5 million net inflow, the single best week in 2026. So, who was buying while Goldman was fully unwinding its position? No large institution stepped in. UBS, the world's largest wealth manager with $5.7 trillion in assets, disclosed its own XRP ETF position in the same Q1 filing window. Their total? 197,369 shares in volatility shares and 317 shares in Grayscale. Bank of America and RBC also each disclosed small first-time stakes in XRP ETFs in their Q1 2026 filings. That is not a replacement buyer, that's the compliance department testing. Crypto exchange Femex asserts that retail absorbed the Goldman exit. My research says the same thing. Retail is now holding the position Goldman held for 1 quarter and walked away from. That is not an accusation, that's just the math. Before Goldman unwound its entire XRP ETF position and no institution picked it up, Bloomberg Intelligence assessed that 84% of XRP ETF holders were retail, the other 16% were institutional. And remember, Goldman's $152.2 million was roughly 74% of that 16%. The 13Fs show institutions are not loading up on XRP. They show quite the opposite. But the 13F doesn't show everything. We have to dig deeper. That's next. If this is the first time that you're hearing about or seeing the actual filing data instead of the community headlines, subscribe now. This channel is where the filings go when the press coverage doesn't. SEC Form 13F applies to institutions providing discretionary management, which means firms managing someone else's money. You don't file one if you're managing your own. At least 4 groups are completely invisible to this system. Individual whales buying through personal brokerage accounts regardless of size. Family offices with less than $100 million in total AUM, not XRP ETF specifically, total assets. Foreign institutions not subject to SEC disclosures. And anyone holding direct XRP rather than ETF shares. So, could a single undisclosed whale have absorbed Goldman's entire exit quietly? Let's look at the trading data. The Bitwise XRP ETF, the largest of the 7 funds, trades approximately 585,000 shares per day, roughly $8.8 million in daily dollar volume. Across all 7 XRP ETFs combined, total weekly trading volume for the week Goldman's exit was disclosed was $137 million. That sounds large, but Goldman's $152 million position was unwound over a full quarter, 90 days, which works out to roughly $1.7 million across 4 products. That is well within normal daily volume. A buyer absorbing that at the same pace would leave no anomalous footprint in the trading data. So the honest answer is, the volume data doesn't prove a shadow whale was operating, but it doesn't rule one out either. What it tells us is that the XRP ETF market is liquid enough to absorb a $150 million position in either direction without a detectable signature. Here is what the data does tell us clearly. Bloomberg Intelligence's 84% retail figure came from Q4 2025, when Goldman's $152 million was still part of the institutional 16%. After Goldman's full exit in Q1 with no comparable institutional replacement, that institutional share dropped further. So the 84-16 split is the most generous version of the institutional adoption case. The current reality is even more lopsided. Now, one more point that doesn't get discussed often. Everything we've covered so far, the 13F filings, the ETF flow data, the Bloomberg Intelligence breakdown, it only covers XRP ETFs. It says nothing about direct XRP holdings. And here's where the disclosure picture gets even murkier. Direct XRP holdings, whether held by an individual, a hedge fund, or a sovereign wealth fund, are completely invisible to the 13F system. The 13F only covers US-listed equity securities. Cryptocurrency held directly is not reportable under 13F, period, regardless of the size of the position. A hedge fund could hold $2 billion in XRP on the XRPL and file a 13F showing zero crypto exposure. Legally, accurately, the public would never see it. The only reporting that touches direct crypto is tax disclosures to the IRS, and that data goes to tax authorities, not to you, and not to me. So, what public disclosures are there about direct XRP holdings? Well, there are not many, but one of them we found out was fake. Here's what we need to know. 8 companies had announced XRP treasury strategies by January of 2026, with combined commitments exceeding $2 billion. The most concrete? Evernorth Holdings and its affiliate Pathfinder Digital Assets disclosed holding 473 million XRP as of the end of 2025. They did that through an SEC filing, which was required because they're going public through a SPAC merger. They had to disclose. Most of these institutions don't. The biggest name that was an institutional XRP holder, SBI Holdings, is Japan's dominant financial services conglomerate with $212 billion in total assets and $430 billion in securities under management. They became a live test case for exactly this question. Earlier this year, an X post went viral in the XRP community claiming that SBI held $10 billion worth of XRP tokens. The story spread fast. SBI has been Ripple's most important institutional partner since 2016. It co-founded SBI Ripple Asia, runs Japan's only live XRP remittance corridor, and has integrated XRP into its shareholder rewards program. The community had every reason to believe SBI was all in on the token.
Securely buy and sell crypto at one of the lowest costs on average with Robinhood. Download Robinhood.
Nespresso for offices.
How does this work? My son's assistant here. Will you be sitting beside me at the funeral? This is Jamie, a gift from my son.
Oh. Dude, it's so thanks for sleeping together.
You just found a real winner in the car rental game.
Get real horsepower. Rent premium cars at affordable prices from Sixt.
Yep, total no-brainer.
Sixt. Rent the car.
We weren't sure if gold was actually worth the upgrade. After last night, he's not going back. Watching him take Blue Chew Gold is so simple. One tablet under the tongue, no stress, no overthinking. The 4 ingredients work together. He gets harder, longer-lasting erections and a boost in arousal. Confidence doesn't disappear with time. It just needs better support.
Then the CEO corrected it personally on X. He wasn't required to. No regulator compelled him. The claim appeared in a social media post, not in a prospectus or a filing. He chose to respond. And what he said is worth reading carefully. Not $10 billion in XRP. It's actually about 9% of Ripple Labs. This means our hidden asset could be much larger. That is not a denial of conviction in the Ripple ecosystem. That is a CEO telling the market that his company made a smarter bet than the community assumed. Equity in the company, not tokens. A 9% stake in Ripple at a $50 billion private valuation is worth approximately $4.5 billion. It does not fluctuate with XRP's daily price, and it appreciates if Ripple wins enterprise contracts regardless of whether those contracts settle in XRP or in RLUSD. SBI's position is a bet on Ripple the company, not on XRP the token. And the CEO said so, voluntarily, in public. That is the same conflation we've been tracking throughout this entire video, and it came from the mouth of Ripple's most committed institutional partner. With a relatively large direct XRP position debunked and a series of smaller positions held by XRP treasury companies seen, could there be unseen whales? Until very recently, the answer was mostly no. Here's why. The XRP ledger is a blockchain. Every wallet, every balance, every transaction has always been visible to anyone with a blockchain explorer. Analytic firms like Sentiment read that ledger and analyzed it continuously. A $500 million institutional position in direct XRP would appear as a whale wallet. It would be found. The on-chain data would show it. That changed in April 2026. The XRP ledger integrated zero-knowledge proofs, a cryptographic privacy layer that allows institutions to confirm a transaction is valid and confirm it's compliant without revealing the amount, the sender, or the recipient. The stated purpose, in Ripple's own words, is to let institutions transact without exposing trading strategies or treasury positions to competitors. The ledger just got a privacy layer specifically designed for institutional use, which means the question of whether large institutions are quietly accumulating direct XRP, invisible to the 13F system, and now potentially invisible to the public blockchain as well, has no clean answer. Before April 2026, the absence of visible on-chain accumulation was meaningful. After 2026, the ledger can keep its secrets. That is not an accusation. It is the structure of the system. And it is the honest answer to the question Dr. Felix Farsider 2346 was actually asking, even if he didn't know it. So, with that codicil, let's look at the ledger data as directly as we can. It's time to dig into direct XRP holdings. We've exhausted the XRP ETF research for the moment. We dove into institutional holding of XRP and looked at available information. Now, let's look at direct XRP holdings. For that, we need to look at the XRP ledger directly. The XRP ledger is a public blockchain. Every wallet, every balance, every transaction is visible to anyone who wants to look. The analytics firm that reads it most comprehensively for XRP is Sentiment, a blockchain intelligence platform that has partnered directly with the Ripple team and serves as the primary data provider for XRPL on-chain metrics. When Sentiment publishes wallet data, it is reading directly from the ledger. This is not survey data or estimates, it is the actual count. As of mid-March 2026, the total number of activated XRP ledger addresses has reached approximately 7.85 million. But on-chain wallets only tell part of the story. Millions of XRP holders never create a personal wallet. They hold on Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, and dozens of other platforms where their XRP is held in exchange custody on their behalf. When you reconcile on-chain wallet data with off-chain exchange users, the estimated total number of unique XRP owners globally is between 18 million and 25 million people. That is the universe. Now, let's look at the tiers within it. Sentiment data shows 332,230 wallets now hold at least 10,000 XRP, which is the highest count ever. It's incredible. Out of more than 7.7 million activated XRP addresses, that puts a holder roughly in the top 5% globally. At current prices, 10,000 XRP is worth approximately $13,800. These are not institutions. These are high-conviction individual holders, people who've been in XRP long enough and with enough commitment to accumulate a five-figure dollar position in a token that has spent most of 2026 declining. And then the millionaire wallets, the ones that hold at least 1 million XRP each. Sentiment reported that from October 1st to December 31st of 2025, the number shrank by 784, from a peak of approximately 2,785 down to about 2,000. That's a 28% decline in the millionaire cohort in 3 months. Those wallets did not fall below the threshold because the price dropped. The threshold is measured in tokens, not dollars. Those wallets sold. The number recovered by 42 in the first weeks of 2026, and Sentiment counted 2,016 wallets in millionaire territory as of January 28th. At the highest end, Sentiment data from mid-May 2026 shows 507 wallets holding 10 million XRP or more. Together, those 507 wallets control 45.83 billion XRP, the most that cohort has held since May of 2018, and approximately 68% of the total circulating supply. That concentration sounds alarming until you understand what those wallets actually are. Binance's cold storage, BitThumb's cold storage, Uphold, Kraken, Coinbase, and every other major exchange holding XRP on behalf of their millions of retail users. Ripple's own operational wallets and escrow accounts are included in that. When the XRP army points to top wallet concentration as evidence of institutional conviction, they're mostly pointing at exchange custodians holding retail money. At today's price, 1 million XRP is roughly $1.4 million per wallet. The XRP community celebrated that number when Sentiment reported it. They should. It is a genuine signal of long-term conviction from large individual holders accumulating through a significant drawdown. There's no clear evidence of institutions or whales stacking XRP bags. There is a strong picture of retail doing so through exchanges and through ETFs. And there is absolutely evidence of 1,500 or 2,000 millionaire wallets keeping their dime in hands and waiting for the boom. Is retail ETF ownership a bad thing for XRP? No. Does the 94% retail ownership of XRP ETFs worry me? Also, no. But it is structurally different than what's happening with Bitcoin, and that difference has a price consequence worth understanding. When Bitcoin spot ETFs launched in January 2024, they were also retail heavy, roughly 80% retail in the first year. But the institutional share started climbing almost immediately. By the end of 2024, institutional 13F holders had reached 26% of total Bitcoin ETF assets. By mid-2025, sovereign wealth funds moved in. Harvard's endowment took a $116 million position in BlackRock's IBIT. Abu Dhabi's Mudabala increased its stake. By early 2026, Bitcoin ETF institutional ownership had reached 38%, up from 24% just 12 months earlier, with hedge funds, pension funds, and registered investment advisors collectively holding more than $40 billion. That rotation from 20% institutional to 38% institutional over 2 years is what drove Bitcoin from $40,000 to $126,000. And while those prices are great, I have previously covered the alarming nature of capture of Bitcoin's price by the institutions that have long-term negative implications for Bitcoin. XRP ETFs launched in September 2025. 6 months in, the institutional share sits at 16%. And that was the figure measured before Goldman's exit. The current number is obviously lower. Bitcoin's institutional rotation happened because pension funds, endowments, and sovereign wealth funds systematically increased exposure quarter by quarter. XRP's institutional story so far is Goldman in for 1 quarter on a trading desk facilitation, then out, replaced by compliance test positions from UBS, Bank of America, and RBC that together don't equal Goldman's first week. But those are all important steps, and I don't want to dismiss the chance to amplify it. Royal Bank of Canada, Canada's largest bank, $570 billion in assets under management, disclosed a position in the Bitwise XRP ETF in its Q1 2026 13F filing, published May 16th. The Crypto Press, Canada's biggest bank enters XRP. Here's what the filing shows. Approximately 2,000 shares, valued at roughly $30,000, against a $570 billion balance sheet. Let me do that math for you. That's 0.000005% of RBC's assets. That's not adoption. That's a compliance department approving a test position, which is the same pattern every major bank followed with Bitcoin ETFs in early 2024. Small initial positions to establish regulatory infrastructure before any meaningful capital deployment follows. That is what RBC's $30,000 position actually tells you. Not that the institutions are arriving, but they are building the internal infrastructure that would allow them to arrive if the Clarity Act passes, if the regulatory framework firms up, and if XRP ETF's complex grows large enough for pension fund mandates to justify the compliance cost of entry. And there is one more detail. RBC was a founding member of Ripple's Global Payments Steering Group, the committee established specifically to develop governance around Ripple's technology. RBC published research years ago documenting that Ripple's network could reduce cross-border payment costs by up to 46% per payment. That research included a qualifier that matters, with or without XRP. The bank has known since before the ETF existed that Ripple's savings comes from the infrastructure, not the token. The RBC filing tells you one thing with certainty. Their compliance department has approved XRP exposure through a regulated vehicle. That is a regulatory milestone. Permission is real, but permission is not conviction. And $30,000 against $570 billion is not adoption. It is a starting line that the press is treating as a finish line.
We're Phoenix Energy, a family-owned oil company focused on unleashing American oil from North Dakota and Montana. We've already sold over 2.9 million barrels, creating steady jobs for hard-working folks chasing the American dream. You can share in our success by investing with Phoenix Energy and get 9 to 13% annual interest through our Regulation D 506C bond offering. Join our next investor webinar to learn more about Phoenix Energy.
Still renting while your landlord gets rich? Tired of cramped spaces, noisy neighbors, and endless rules you didn't create? What's stopping you from owning your first home, starting your business, or finally driving that dream car? your credit, and it's time to change that forever. Imagine walking into a dream home you own with the perfect room for each of your kids and a backyard where they can play freely. Picture your name on the door of your business with the funding you need to make your dreams a reality. But here's the truth. The credit system doesn't want you to win. It's rigged to keep you from making your goals a reality. Credit bureaus profit from your failures. Credit repair companies profit from your confusion. Dispute Beast fights for you, cutting out the middleman, saving you time and money. Many are trying to imitate Dispute Beast, but they can't compete. No reviews, no support, no results. Don't fall for knockoffs. Dispute Beast isn't just another credit repair tool. It's the highest rated AI credit repair system, trusted by thousands to deliver real results with real support. Your biggest fear isn't making things worse. It's staying exactly where you are. Still renting, staring at peeling walls, waiting months for repairs, or asking for permission to decorate your space? Worried your family won't have the room that they need, or that your dream of starting a business will stay just that, a dream? Your fear is being left behind while others build wealth, secure funding, and create the lives that they've always wanted. But with Dispute Beast, you don't need an expert. We've built the smartest AI to fight for you and get you the results you deserve. It's so easy to use, you can start improving your credit in less than 5 minutes. Imagine spending just a few minutes a month to transform your financial future. It's not your fault the system failed you, but now you have the power to change it. The truth? Other systems only target Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, but that's not enough to get the results you deserve. Dispute Beast doesn't stop there. We target Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and your creditors, and the secondary bureaus, because that's how you get real results fast.
This entire video's research started with one comment on an earlier video. Is the world loading up on XRP? The answer is no. But the better question is, what would make that happen? Before I get to that, I need to clear up something the video has been building toward without quite resolving. Way back in Chapter 2, I walked through corporate treasuries holding XRP directly. 8 companies with combined commitments over $2 billion. Evernorth with 473 million tokens on its balance sheet. And then I said the Clarity Act would open the door for institutions to hold XRP directly. Those two things seem to contradict each other. They don't, but there's a distinction that matters. There are 2 different types of institutional actors in this story. The first type is corporations, companies that buy XRP the same way they might buy gold, real estate, or any other asset. No federal statute prevented Evernorth or Vivo Power from holding XRP directly. What they faced was commercial and reputational risk, not a legal prohibition. They could hold it, some did. The second type is regulated financial institutions. Those are banks, broker-dealers, pension funds, insurance companies, asset managers operating under SEC oversight. These institutions don't operate under commercial risk tolerance. They operate under compliance rules that require explicit federal guidance before they can hold, custody, or deploy any asset at scale. A court ruling says XRP is not a security in retail transactions. An interpretive release from the SEC and CFTC says XRP is a digital commodity. But neither of those is a statute. Compliance teams at JP Morgan and BlackRock and every pension fund administrator in the country need a law, not a ruling, and not an agency memo that the next administration could reverse. That is what the Clarity Act could do. That is who it unlocks. Not the corporate treasury market, the regulated financial system. On May 14th, the Senate Banking Committee passed the Clarity Act in a 15-9 vote. The bill now goes to the full Senate, where it needs 60 votes. The White House has set an ambitious July 4th signing target. Polymarket puts full passage odds at roughly 75%. I'm not that optimistic. If the bill becomes law, XRP classification is locked into federal statute. Permanent. Not subject to reversal by the next SEC chair or the next administration. That removes the compliance barrier that has kept pension funds, endowments, and regulated asset managers structurally sidelined from XRP for the better part of 3 years. Standard Chartered projects $4 billion to $8 billion in XRP ETF inflows if the Clarity Act becomes law. Geoffrey Kendrick at Standard Chartered is the only institutional analyst with a named, sourced, specific dollar projection on the record. He's the only one. Every other number you see is either an AI model scenario or a price target contingent on inflows rather than a projection of the inflows themselves. So let's think about what $4 to $8 billion would actually mean. Bitcoin ETFs launched in January 2024 with Bitcoin trading around $46,000 and a market cap of roughly $880 billion. By October 2025, Bitcoin hit its all-time high near $126,000. Over that 21-month run, Bitcoin ETFs accumulated approximately $57 billion in cumulative net inflows. $57 billion in ETF inflows. 7 times what Standard Chartered is projecting for XRP in an optimistic scenario. And that $57 billion corresponded to roughly $1.7 trillion in Bitcoin market cap appreciation. XRP's current market cap is approximately $80 billion, just a fraction of Bitcoin's. The XRP ETF complex currently holds $1.4 billion in cumulative inflows. Standard Chartered scenario adds $4 to $8 billion on top of that in a market that is roughly 30 times smaller by Bitcoins by market cap. The math on potential price impact, if the inflows materialize, is not the same math as Bitcoin. A smaller market absorbs inflows differently. I am not giving you a price target. That is not what this channel does. What I am telling you is the mechanism. The Clarity Act is the legislation. Statutory commodity classification is the unlock. Regulated institutional capital is the buyer. And $4 billion to $8 billion in new ETF inflows into a token with an $80 billion market cap is a very different equation than $57 billion into a $2.5 trillion market. Now, whether that happens depends on a Senate floor vote, a presidential signature, and then the speed at which compliance teams at the world's largest financial institutions work through their internal approval process. That is what you should be watching for, not the headlines, the mechanism. Now, here's a quick math question about the mechanism. You didn't know there was a quiz. When Bitcoin embraced ETFs, or when ETFs embraced Bitcoin, I'm never sure which, every dollar of net ETF inflow corresponded to roughly $28 of market cap appreciation over that period. If XRP experienced the same situation, what impact would Standard Chartered's projection have on XRP's price? I'll leave that math to you. What I will say is that the answer has nothing to do with the 3 variables I dismantled in my last XRP video. This is a very different question entirely. That's what I think makes it worth asking. This pattern, infrastructure owners capturing the technology while retail holds the token, is documented across every major technology adoption cycle in my book, The Token Trap. It's available now on Amazon. There's a link in the description. I'm Dana Love, PhD. I'll see you in the next one. If this gave you something to think about, subscribe. I put out new analysis often. Drop a comment too. I answer as many as I can. And watch this one next. I picked it for you. Wherever you found me, I'm glad you did. See you in the next one.
Trading at Schwab is powered
President Trump's plan to reset the United States dollar is now underway. On May 22nd, President Trump swore in the new chair at the Federal Reserve Bank to help rebuild the United States dollar.
But for the swearing in of our new chairman of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, Kevin Warsh. Kevin?
Right now, the United States dollar is at risk because we have over $39 trillion worth of national debt, and people around the world are starting to lose faith in the United States dollar. This is where President Trump's plan is not to pay off the debt by cutting expenses. It's not to pay off the debt by raising taxes. taxes, it's to inflate away our national debt. And President Trump is hoping that the new Fed chair will help him achieve that goal. Take a listen.
Because we do have some debt we'd like to take care of, and the way you do that is through growth. We're going to grow our way out of it so fast. And Kevin's somebody, and I feel strongly also, we don't want to see it stifled. We want to stop inflation, but we don't want to stop greatness.
There's only one problem with that. You can't inflate away the debt without somebody paying the price. And most people aren't going to realize it until they feel the pain in their wallet. That's why in this video, I want to lay out President Trump's three-part plan to protect, save, and hopefully reset the United States dollar, not just so you understand what might be coming, but to understand how this could create potential investment opportunities as well. So make sure you stick with me until the end of this video. By the way, this is one of the reasons why on June 16th, I'm hosting a live, free, and virtual investor workshop where I'm going to be showing you my firm's research as to where opportunities are changing in our economy and how they create investment opportunities. Because with all the changes in Trump's economy, with all the changes with AI, and with all the changes of the geopolitical stuff happening, a lot of people are panicking, but it creates investment opportunity, and I'll be showing you where that opportunity is on my live workshop on June 16th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, noon. And as a bonus, when you sign up for my workshop, you're also going to get it to Market Briefs, which is my newsletter for investors, read by hundreds of thousands of investors every single day on our national debt. Well, the problem is the government doesn't just spend what we generate from taxes, the government spends more than what we generate from taxes. That's why we have a little bit over $39 trillion worth of national debt right now, because the government has spent $39 trillion that it doesn't have. And now, because it's spent all this money we don't have, it has to pay interest on that money, which is why the fastest growing expense for our government is not our military, it's not infrastructure, it's the interest payments on this debt. Well, if the government has spent $39 trillion that it doesn't have, it has to get that money from somewhere. This is where the government has to go out and borrow that money in the form of debt. So the government borrows this money from foreign countries like Japan and China and the United Kingdom. It borrows this money from people like you and me and other private institutions. And then it borrows this money from the Federal Reserve Bank. And the Federal Reserve Bank is actually not a bank, because you and I cannot go there to deposit money. It's not a cash reserve because it's not sitting on any reserves, and it's not federal. It says so on its website. But the Federal Reserve Bank has the ability to do two things. It can adjust interest rates, meaning it can move them higher or lower, and it has the ability to print money. So when the government spends trillions of dollars that it doesn't have, the Federal Reserve Bank can print that money out of thin air and lend it to the United States government. But this is where things start to get really interesting, especially when you look at what President Trump is doing, because remember, the Federal Reserve Bank is not federal. That means the government cannot tell the Federal Reserve Bank what to do. But if a chairman at the Federal Reserve Bank has their term expire, that's when the government, meaning the president, can appoint a new leader at the Federal Reserve Bank. And that's exactly what happened. On May 15th, 2026, the previous chairman, Jerome Powell, saw his term expire. So President Trump was able to come in and appoint his own chairman at the Federal Reserve Bank. And President Trump has said that he's going to appoint somebody who listens to what President Trump wants. And what does President Trump want? A booming economy, a booming stock market, and low interest rates. Now the question is, will this new chairman actually do that? Time will tell, but this is where you want to pay attention to the three-part plan that President Trump wants to see play out. Now here's the problem. The United States dollar used to be backed by physical gold, but then on August 15, 1971, then President Richard Nixon took the dollar off of the gold standard, which meant our money now became fiat currency, meaning it's just a piece of paper that's backed by our government. And you can start to see now, when you just are transacting with dollars that are not backed by anything, how people can lose trust or value in the dollar if you just print a lot of these dollars. And that's the situation that we're running into. And now, because we have so much debt, people around the world are saying, I don't know if I want to keep trusting my wealth in the United States dollar. And this is where President Trump has a three step plan, starting with number one, the financial repression. We've seen this financial repression happen in the past in the United States. And while history doesn't exactly repeat itself, it does rhyme. So let me show you what happened in the past in the United States by showing you the numbers. And then I'm going to show you what President Trump wants to do now, which is something we've never seen happen before. In 1946, after spending so much money on World War II, the United States entered a debt problem. We had $271 billion of national debt, while our economy, measured through a number called GDP, was only $222 billion large, which meant we had a debt to GDP 122%. We had more national debt than the size of the economy. And this is where the government started a financial repression to help solve this debt. It did not work to pay off the debt. Instead, the government worked to inflate away the value of that debt. Take a look at what happened a few decades later when we came to 1974. By 1974, our national debt did not shrink, it grew from $271 billion to $486 billion. But take a look at this. Our economy grew even faster. Our economy grew from $222 billion to about $1.5 trillion, which means now our debt to GDP ratio fell from 122% all the way to around. So now you can see our national debt grew, but the national debt problem fell. This is what the financial repression is all about. Now let's take a look at where we are today in 2026. Today in 2026, we have national debt of around $39 trillion, while our economy is about $30 trillion large, which means our debt to GDP ratio is approximately 130%. We are underwater on our debt based off of the size of our economy. It's actually worse than where we were back in 1940. I don't know what's going on with the dollar. I'm concerned about inflation. I'm concerned about the value of the dollar because we have so much debt relative to the value of our economy. And this is where President Trump wants to do something like this. But in order for this financial repression to actually work, there must be two things that happen at the exact same time in order for the debt problem to get better. Rule number one for financial repression to work is you need low interest rates. More specifically, you need interest rates lower than the inflation rate. To lose money on every single dollar that they lend. Let me explain how it happened in the past, because while history doesn't exactly repeat itself, it does rhyme, and you'll see what President Trump wants to do with number two, because that's where things really get interesting. Let's go back in time to 1946. Now interest rates are at around 2.5%. And when I say interest rates here, what I mean is if you were to lend your money to the United States government, because remember, the government is deep in debt, the government is going to pay you 2.5% in interest on your money. At the same time, 10%. Which means if you were to lend your money to the United States government, you're getting a 2.5% return, while your money is losing 10% of its value every year because of inflation. Now, the question is going to be, well, why would anybody lend their money to the government and lose money? Well, I'll talk about number two in just a second, but this is where we were back in 1946. This allowed the government to essentially borrow money for free, because remember, you're borrowing money cheaper than inflation. So the government's borrowing money for free than our debt, and take a look at what the numbers were by 1974. By 1974, the numbers started to equalize. We'll see the interest rates started to go up while inflation was still high, but this was around the time where the government and the Federal Reserve Bank really started to jack up interest rates as a way to bring inflation down. But what happened during this period is the government was able to borrow money for essentially free. That way the economy could grow faster than the national debt. Here we are today in 2026, and interest rates are somewhere between 4 to 5%. You can see that right now we are not in the financial repression environment because interest rates are higher than inflation. And this is where President Trump says that he wants, and we will see, lower interest rates very quickly. Now, of course, the question is, are we actually going to see lower interest rates? That's a completely different story. Kevin Warsh, the new chairman at the Federal Reserve Bank, says he's not going to be a sock puppet. What does that mean? We will ultimately see, but maybe he will cut interest rates, maybe he won't, only wants these lower interest rates. Which brings me to number two. Who are these lenders? Why would anybody lend money to the government and get a 2.5% return when inflation is at 10%? And the reason why is the government almost made it mandatory for certain institutions, pension funds, and other investment funds out there to lend money to the United States government, meaning the United States government created rules and laws to almost force people to this government. Otherwise, most investors would say, I don't want to lend money at 2.5% when inflation is at 10%. But if the government forces you, then it can become a little bit more likely because you have no other option. That's what we saw happen. The people that were savers holding onto cash became losers because the government required you to lose money. The person that became wealthy was the government. Well, what's going to happen now? Could the government force people to lend money to the government again? Start to get unique, because in the mid-1940s, the United States dollar had just become the world's reserve currency, which means that countries around the world are saving their wealth in the United States dollar, and they're buying commodities around the world in the United States dollar. So in this time, the dollar has a lot of trust, it has a lot of faith, and it has a lot of belief, and the dollar is also backed by physical gold during this time in 1946. Fast forward today in 2026, and it's kind of the opposite. Today, there are talks about the United States dollar potentially losing is the dollar is not backed by gold, and today certain countries around the world are less willing to lend their money to the United States. What we can infer from that is it would be more difficult today to get people to lend their money to the United States at a loss than it was here, because here the dollar strength was at an all-time high. Today the dollar strength is not as high. So what is the government doing to entice or force people to lend their money to the United States at a loss? We'll take a look. Trump, which is requiring these stablecoin companies to back their stablecoins one-to-one with United States treasuries. In other words, President Trump is not trying to back the dollar with gold. He's not trying to back the dollar with oil. He's trying to back the dollar with cryptocurrency by requiring these cryptocurrency companies to back their stablecoins with United States dollars. And it's not hidden that this is President Trump's plan to keep trust and value and the reserve status in the United States dollar. They've even published this on the White House dollar global reserve currency status. By driving demand for U.S. treasuries, stablecoins will play a crucial role in ensuring the continued global dominance of the United States dollar as the world's reserve currency. This is why
when it comes to your celebration of life, you want to plan ahead now so your family doesn't have to later. Let us help you plan every detail with professionalism and compassion. Find us.
Get more crypto for your cash and set up recurring buys starting at just $1. Get started today.
Caught that? That's how fast options trading moves. Our human brain, it's never designed to move at that speed. Moo can. Strategy.
You're leaving money on the table. Not because your content isn't good, but because the tools you're using weren't built to help you earn sustainable revenue. Beehive is the all-in-one newsletter. Build your site, grow your audience, and actually get paid without touching a line of code. Beehive gives you a digital home base where anyone can discover all your content, plus the tools to grow your audience and monetize on your own terms. Built-in referral programs, paid subscriptions, sponsorships, digital products. Everything you need to grow and get paid all in one place. The creators who switch to Beehive, they don't just make money. They're building deeper audience relationships, subscriber list, and their revenue. Billions of emails, tens of thousands of websites, millions in revenue. And one simple truth, Beehive is the best way to supercharge your digital business. Beehive is the platform that pays creators more.
This is why studying history is so powerful, because what we saw happen here in the 40s and the 50s is the government was kind of requiring certain banking institutions, certain other pension funds, and financial institutions to lend treasuries at a loss. Today, we're starting to see it happen again but with stablecoin companies, to have these stablecoin companies now back the treasuries, meaning lend money to the United States by backing the stablecoins with United States dollars. Right now, though, interest rates are higher than inflation. President Trump wants interest rates to fall drastically, to be below the inflation level. Well, what does that mean? It's a way to keep trust and faith in the dollar, because now these stablecoin companies would be putting a lot of money into the United States dollar, but it's also a way to continue lending money to the United States. That way the government can lead this financial repression. Again, this is one of the reasons why I'm hosting my live workshop on June 16th, because this is going to change investment opportunities. So if you haven't registered for that workshop yet, again, I have that link for you down in the description. But to put the value of this in perspective, right now, Japan is the largest foreign owner of United States treasuries, and they own something like $1.2 trillion of United States treasuries. How much are these stable coins going to be? Well, take a look at what the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent posted on Twitter. Read this. Recent reporting projects that stable coins could grow to a $3.7 trillion market by the end of the decade, meaning 2030. That scenario becomes more likely with the passage of the Genius Act. So according to the Treasury Secretary, about 3 times larger than the largest foreign lender to the United States. That's the value of this, because why would anybody lend money to the United States at a loss if interest rates are lower than inflation? Well, if you're required to, you don't have a choice. This brings me to the third point, which is kind of an out-of-the-box thing, which is revaluing the balance sheet here in the United States. Now, just so we're talking about the same thing, when I say balance sheet, what a balance sheet is your assets minus liabilities. And right now, the States government has some believes are not valued correctly, and the government has a plan to increase the amount of assets. I'm going to wipe this side of the whiteboard down, there way I could diagram it for you. So we know that one way that the government is trying to reset the value of the dollar is to make our national debt look less expensive. How do you do that? By inflating away the value of the debt. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean paying it off. It means growing the economy faster than the national debt. Could you do that? Well, one way, which requires low interest rates, which is what President Trump wants. He now has a new Federal Reserve Bank chairman who is trying to potentially lower these interest rates, which is what President Trump wants, while people are willing to lend money to the United States government at a loss. Now, will that happen? Again, only time will tell, but this is what we know that President Trump is working for. At the same time, you need these lenders who are willing to lose money every time they lend money to the government. And this is where the Trump administration to force stablecoin companies to back their stablecoins one-to-one with the United States treasuries. So this is all a way to inflate away the value of the national debt relative to our economy. But the other thing that the government is trying to do to strengthen the value of the dollar is to increase the value of the United States assets relative to our liabilities. Because if we own a lot of assets as a government, well, now your debt doesn't seem as big of a problem. Well, it's only a problem if you don't have more than $1 million in assets. Well, another thing here we want to talk about is our balance sheet, which takes a look at the government's assets minus liabilities. The top 3 assets for the United States government are, number 1, certain loans, which is led by student loans. Student loans are the number 1 asset for the United States government, which is kind of a really weird thing to think about, because yes, we talk about the importance of higher education, government so rich. Number 2 is property owned by the government. And number 3, the third largest asset, is dollars and gold for the United States government. The 3 largest liabilities for the government are, number 1, our national debt, which we've been talking about. Number 2 is pensions for all government employees and veterans. And then number 3 is environmental liabilities, taking care of the environment in different ways. And this is where the government has kind of a 2-pronged plan to increase assets relative to liabilities. The first thing, which is a rumor, which some people say is going to happen, others say is not going to have these liabilities. The other is to increase these assets. Let me start by talking about revaluing the debt. There's been talk about revaluing the gold reserves that the United States government owns. According to the Federal Reserve Bank, we have about 206 ounces of gold, and on our balance sheet this gold is valued at approximately $42 an ounce, which means on our at $1 or so. And this is where, according to the government and the Federal Reserve Bank, one thing that we could consider doing is just change the valuation, because change this from $42 to $3,000, $4,000. That means we can increase the assets on our balance sheet by approximately $1 trillion by doing nothing except just changing some numbers on our financial statements. That's it in 2025. Right now, the Treasury Secretary says that it's not something we want to do yet. We'll see if it actually happens. Value of the gold, but to add in how many assets we have on our balance sheet through something called the Sovereign Wealth Fund. The idea behind the Sovereign Wealth Fund is it's kind of on behalf of its citizens sitting on the balance sheet for the United States government. If the government makes some good investments, these investments go up in value, and now our assets look bigger. If we make some bad investments, well, then that wouldn't look so good on our balance sheet, which is a great idea. The only problem is we don't have any money to invest in the first place because we have $39 trillion of debt. Our taxes coming in do not pay for our expenses as they are. So where would the government get the money to actually make into debt? This is where I want to talk about how all of this could create some investment opportunities. Again, I'm going to go deeper into this on June 16th, but let me wipe this off and show you what I mean. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not here to tell you what to invest in. Investing has risks. You are never guaranteed to make money when you invest. In fact, you will lose money at some point. So make sure you always do your own due diligence and never blindly trust a random guy on YouTube. I'm going to go over some specific examples for example purposes only. I'm not here to tell you what to invest in. I'm here to show you how you can start. Opportunity number one, which is just the broad economy. If you believe that this will work and it will help unleash the American economy, well, you can just invest in the American economy. VTI is a fund, an ETF that gives you exposure to the total stock market, the 2,000 some stocks in the United States stock market. You're going to get exposure through that with VTI. If you wanted to get a little bit more niche, you can invest in the S&P 500. This is a group of the 500 largest companies. Invest in funds like VOO. As a disclosure, I'm personally invested in VOO, which will give you exposure to these S&P 500 companies. Again, the 500 largest companies in the stock market. If you believe that the American economy is going to grow, this is going to give you exposure to that. If you believe that the dollar is going to continue to hurt, that our national debt is going to become a bigger problem, well, then you can look for ways to protect your money against the dollar. Now, there's a lot of ways to do this. You can invest in foreign countries and foreign economies. I've made other videos talking about how you can do that even if you are in the United States, but I'm going to keep it very simple here. Talking about gold. When people are concerned about inflation, they generally buy gold. When people are concerned about the economy, they generally buy gold. Gold is a hedge against bad things happening, period. That's what generally helps the value of gold. Now you can go and buy physical gold, or you can invest in paper gold, meaning an ETF that gives you exposure to the gold. In general, I like the idea of buying the actual asset rather than an ETF that gives you exposure to the asset, but the ETF is a whole lot simpler. If you want the paper exposure out there as well, this is just one example to get exposure to gold. Just understand that gold does not always go up. It goes up when people are concerned about the dollar. If dollar concerns go away, well, then you will likely see gold prices fall. We saw this happen after 2008. During the 2008 crash, we were printing a lot of money, cutting interest rates, inflation concerns were everywhere. So 2008 to 2012, gold prices boomed. And gold prices crashed, and they stayed down all the way until 2020. In 2020, the pandemic hit, the money printer was turned on, and gold prices have been booming.
That's the sound of an American oil company, hard at work. Want to be a part of it? Listen up.
Hello.
I look forward to you joining us at our next webinar where you can drill deeper and
XRP, they have vanished. Please read the disclaimer. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, moneymakers. You'll understand my dramatic opening there in just a second. How you doing? Sunday, fun day. A very interesting. Big pullbacks, and we saw XRP and Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana, everything, meme coins, everything selling off. We have seen a little bit of recovery, a tiny, tiny recovery. Does that mean that the worst is past us, or is this just a slowdown because of the weekend and we might continue this week? There is something big that is about. So all I ask from you, and we're going to cover a lot of things here, don't worry, is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smishity smash that like button. Listen, your likes are helping. You know what my theory is about XRP and the amount of likes on my videos. I'm just saying, right? So, and let's get into it. So right now, XRP is sitting at $1, and it dropped all the way down to $1.05 last morning, right? So Saturday morning. But since then, the crypto market has recovered a little bit. Bitcoin did drop under that 59,000 support zone once, and then second time it got jumped off of that. So this was, you could call this right here maybe a slip like that, and then it bounced back up. Here it got stopped there, and so far we've been able to hold over 60,000. Ethereum also dropped all the way to 1,500, back over 1,600. Solana similar, up 4% there, dropped all the way to 60, now close to 65. So the crypto market has recovered a little bit. If we go to the fear and greed index, we never hit the extreme fear. Dead Sea. If you guys don't know, the Dead Sea is flat. There's basically no waves. And you lay back and you float. It's kind of a weird experience to anybody that has never experienced it. I used to live nearby, so I've been there many times. It's interesting. It's interesting. I could call it a sea, right? Yeah, they call it the Dead Sea, right? So right now, the crypto fear and greed index is flat, which is really weird. Days in a row at 12, maybe it's broken, right? But just tracking it for a while, it always goes up a little bit, down a little bit. Like, okay, here we had 2 days at 28, but the day before 29. So I don't know what's going on there, but interesting. So I think maybe the potential of the Clarity Act, and we'll get to what Senator Loomis just said about the Clarity Act in just a second, might be holding the crypto market's head above water. Right, so sell off, right, and people are continuing to kind of reaffirm my theory with the SpaceX IPO, right, the Elon Musk company, and even Vincent says here, my research into current collapse seems to all point to the SpaceX XAI IPO. Are the big boys selling crypto? Are there shares, bonds, stocks, gold, you name it, into cash for the biggest IPO in history, raising 75 billion, and the frail crypto industry can get tumbles. Make no mistake, the largest catalyst of the market collapse is 100% Bitcoin. Major ETF outflow, sailor selling. I'll bet that small number of Bitcoin. It just really goes to show BTC is purely fueled by speculation and hype right now. So we talked about this in length 2 days ago, right? Already. Wow, time flies. We'll see what happens here with the market. Again, have the possibility to take advantage of the market. Right now, we're looking at a situation where retail has vanished from the crypto market. CEX spot volume collapsed to only 679 billion, the lowest level since October 23, as per CryptoQuant. Spot trading is now down 46% year over year, a staggering minus 67% drawdown from its October 2025 peak. So 2025 exchanges are rushing to pivot to gold, silver, oil stocks, where the monthly volume has already gone significantly up to 450 billion. So why do I say they are gone? Because I don't consider you guys retail anymore, right? Because even though you could be considered quote unquote retail investors, right? Because you're not institution, but I don't look at you as the same as the people that fell off the market and disappeared from the market since October 10th, right? Because you are, I'm calling you retail crypto investors because I'm looking at those people as people that only come in when times are good, right? But you are learning, you are building, you are improving yourself. You are thinking about the long term, okay? Now, if you are thinking about the long term and you do live in the United States of America, there is an opportunity with our partner, I Trust Capital, right? Now, if you are interested and you live in the United States of America, you in silver with your IRA. And this gives you the possibility to take advantage of the tax benefits that come from an IRA and the potential of compound interest. And this is very, very important. You know, I talk a lot about diversification. I talk a lot about, preparing for your future self, for your future children's selves, right? I don't know if you have kids or not, but if you do have in the future your age and you think about them, and then IRA is a great conduit to do that. Again, it's only available to US customers. And if you are interested, you can sign up using my link. I will get a commission for that and it will help keep the lights on for the channel. You can see me with my snazzy suit. To tell you the truth, the only suit I own is my wedding suit. Right? Because it's so hot here, nobody wears suits. Don't even wear suits at the wedding because it's like, it's desert here. So we don't really wear suits. But I Trust Capital, check out the link in the description down below. Again, this is an affiliate link. So thank you for that. So I know you guys are not these people, right? Because you're still here, you're still watching the videos. But as you can see, spot has gone down significantly, and trading in general has gone down since October 10th. It's funny because it seems like the trading has kicked up a little bit over the past few days, just because people are interested in volatility. So, when the market wasn't doing anything and XRP was just moving sideways, there weren't many opportunities. There's always opportunities. Like, a few weeks ago, there was rave that went up and then fell off a cliff, of course, but there was that opportunity, right? And there have been opportunities recently like movement, and there's always opportunities in the market, right? Our job is to try to find them, and the best is to try to find them before the move, but that's sometimes just luck. It's also about checking out news and potential, but sometimes it's just luck. Okay, so just remember that. As always, this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Interestingly, here, XRP liquidation heat map in an interesting situation. 2.17 billion in short liquidations are stacked above, and that yellow wall at 135 hasn't been touched yet. There's a significant amount of shorts at 135. And we're coming into this week with next week, already, for me, it's already this week because we go Sunday to Friday. But CPI, right? So core CPI is coming out Friday, so just a few days ago, where the job report came out and it was a lot better than expected. And the markets dropped, stock market dropped. The question is going to be coming into Wednesday here, what is the CPI? How is inflation? Because if you remember, when the Fed talked to us a few months ago and they were talking about
the Advanced Management Pro School, and take away the best that the business school offers. It's so comprehensive. The faculty, the premises, everything that you need to succeed is here.
Did you know that if you hold Bitcoin, you don't need to sell it to access liquidity with your Bitcoin? It's fast, simple, and straightforward. The Bitcoin collateral stays custodied for the loan term and is never lent out. And Ledin brings years of experience in Bitcoin-backed lending. Unlock liquidity without giving up your Bitcoin. Visit ledin.io.
Co-producer is going to give you unique sounds that actually fits your track in seconds. Looking for a vocal chop. This is nice. Just drag and drop it seamlessly. Let's see. A West Coast synth. Oh, that's it. And the cool thing is all of the sounds are royalty free. If I have cute. This is nice. Help me find similar samples. Just some nice sprinkles. This is what helps me finish the track. No more digging into libraries, disturbing my workflow. Super fast. I love it. Y'all gotta try Co-Producer. It's a total game changer. Go download Co-Producer.
CPI and inflation not hitting the 2% that they wanted, but the job market was cooling off. Well, inflation has gone bananas because of the war and oil and everything around that. So inflation is out of the window, but if the job market is strong, also the probabilities of reduction go down. If we see CPI suddenly better than expected or going down, initial jobless claims and core PPI, a year-over-year PPI, all the PPIs. So Wednesday and Thursday are going to be very, very important for the crypto market this week. And as the days go by, we get closer and closer to Clarity Act, All right, the possibility of Clarity Act passing and the crypto market lucky that crypto Clarity Act does not pass. And again, you have to be ready for those scenarios. Okay, so this is your homework. Get ready for these scenarios. I spent years of building toward this moment, says Senator Cynthia Loomis. Clarity Act is the most consequential financial legislation of this generation, and we are going to get it done. Now, you know, it's interesting because we keep talking about how this might not get done, but you know, although if you go like on the probability sites, it's not 100%, of course, there's no real indication from anywhere that it's not going to get passed. But as investors and as crypto investors that we've been burned over the past year or so, we have to be suspicious. And I always keep that monkey on my shoulder because I know that things can change and things can flip, and you know, we can fast. So I'm optimistic, but I have my monkey on my shoulder. What should I name the monkey on my shoulder? Let me know in the comment section. We need a good name for the monkey, okay? We got to get him a name. Now, Benjamin is telling us that doesn't matter what happens with Clarity Act. This is all part of the game. It didn't matter if Clarity Act is going to pass, not going to pass. It's doing its cadence. The midterm election year, these things usually happen to Bitcoin. It says Bitcoin has entered the third and final stage of the bear market. This is because the guys who mocked the bears in stages 1 and 2 are now admitting price could go lower. They were a bull in a bear market, and they will likely turn fully bearish in the bull market. So Benjamin is telling us, listen, when things are starting to go bad, bulls are saying, oh, you know, the bears are crazy, right? And when things are hitting rock bottom, usually those same people are calling for the continuation and dropping to zero and things like that. And then that's usually the flipperoo. I told you once, and we just, talked about, retail and that low will start hitting like 200,000, 300,000 views. Like maybe that will happen, knock on wood, soon again. That is probably towards the high. That means that retail is really interested, and people are calling for these crazy numbers and crazy TikToks and Instagram posts and videos. And that's probably when I'm going to start warning you that we might be close to a top. right now I'm warning us that we might be, but the sentiment, the current situation, the probability of clarity act, I'm feeling that we're close to a bottom. Maybe it continues to drop down, and I will be ready for that scenario too. But it's interesting that Benjamin, who's been right about most of this movement, and is saying that now. Very, very interesting. And probably people are going to start telling him, it could, he says, I'm saying we're in the final stage. Each stage lasts about 4 months. We'll see how this plays out. Again, we might have a pop and then a pullback and then a pop. Right? Things can shift and things can change, and maybe the president does something and says something, and the market moves in a certain way. So again, we're going to be ready for all these types of scenarios. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. And again, this is also something that might indicate to us that we might be close to the bottom. Ethereum RSI has fallen to the lowest reading on record, signaling extreme oversold conditions as selling pressure intensifies. So we'll see. We'll see how cheap do we get. Did we hit the bottom here? Will XRP drop to under $1? So far that hasn't happened, but it is a possibility. Was this the bottom for Bitcoin, or will we the 50,000? All of this is still on the table. Bitcoin dominance dropped to its lowest level in a very long time, but then bounced back up because Bitcoin was holding a little bit better. So we'll see. We'll see how all of these things are going to play out today. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? How should I call my monkey? And of course, check out I Trust Capital if you are in the United States of America. Link is in the description down below, and it will help out the channel. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.
Here's why millions of people trust Robinhood to trade their favorite crypto assets. Get more crypto for your cash and set up recurring buys starting at just $1. Securely send and receive crypto without deposit or lend your crypto or leverage against it. Download the Robinhood app to get started today.
The stock market has been experiencing turmoil, but how can you navigate the recent market volatility? Options? Explore Moomoo's option seller dashboard, and then you'll be able to quickly scroll through a real-time list of bullish or bearish options on the market with their return and probability. You can always get a brief and essential and or loss from these options. And even apply filters to identify options contracts that could meet your specific trading criteria. Trade options with zero contract fees for equity options in addition to zero commissions by downloading Moomoo today. Moomoo, a smarter option for trading.
I think it's fair to say that LA has become vast.
Isn't that? She burned down the entire Pacific Palisades by not having any water in the hydrant, not having any water in the reservoirs. And they're like, yeah, but let's give her another chance. Yeah.
Aesthetically, it is turned to a bad word. That starts with S and it ends with T.
There's been a bit of backlash online. There always is when she posts really anything.
There is no in between with Meg. They would say it was the best opening they'd ever seen in their lives. But at the other end of the spectrum, there are people that are going to criticize her no matter what she does.
Hello, I'm Gabriella Power. Welcome to Power Hour. Thank you for joining us. Spencer Pratt's campaign is gaining momentum as he promises to crack down on fraud in LA.
One question that everybody has for me when they hear my plan is, I don't have the money. Let me clue you in on a little secret. We have the money. It's just being stolen. You pay countless tax dollars. You're taxed on your income. You're taxed on your gas. You're taxed on your property. You're taxed out every single expensive transaction you endure is tax. Yes, hundreds of restaurants have shut their doors thanks to Karen Bass and Nithya Raman. Revenue is decreasing, and I will turn that around. But we have plenty of money in this city. It's just being stolen.
He's making a lot of sense, and he's not just gaining momentum, but his campaign to make LA great again is gaining money. According to Newsweek, his campaign has raised more in contributions than any other candidate, reportedly raising $2.7 million raised $283,000 during the same period. Karen Bass has also been struggling in TV interviews to explain why she has failed to deliver on her promises.
When you talked to Jake Tapper in 2023, you said that your goal was to
end street homelessness
in LA by 2026. It's now 2026.
And we haven't ended it.
We have not ended it, and we're not.
Basically, when I said that, it was at the beginning of my term. I am very committed to achieving that goal. I didn't anticipate some of the bureaucratic barriers.
I think it's fair to say that LA has become a disaster under far-left Mayor Karen Bass, so much so that we're even seeing articles supporting Spencer Pratt from the leftist piece about why Spencer Pratt, who's running as an independent, or why it's a good thing for LA. Look at this article on MS Now's website. This headline says, "I'm not voting for Spencer Pratt, but I'm still glad he's running for LA Mayor." It goes on to say, yes, it's quite likely Pratt's not up for this job, but the city's political class hardly inspires confidence. And the article, it talks about Spencer, his lack of kind of touches on what many people in LA are feeling and are experiencing, particularly after the devastating wildfires. This article says he's far from alone in his fury. Many residents believe the City of Angels has become a hellish, difficult place to live. Housing prices, both to buy or rent, are high. It goes on to say the streaming bubble has burst and Hollywood is in a protracted dotted with potholes as the cash-strapped city has ceased most repaving projects. Even the city's animal shelters, amid in crises and scandal, corruption and incompetence are endemic, with $2.4 billion in homeless funds simply unaccounted for. I mean, no surprise, a large majority of voters say the city is headed in the wrong direction. Now, podcast race in his latest episode, just ripping into the idea of Karen Bass being re-elected.
Isn't that? She burned down the entire Pacific Palisades by not having any water in the hydrants, not having any water in the reservoirs. And they're like, yeah, but let's give her another chance.
Yeah.
She was busy. She didn't have time to save all those houses.
Independent journalist. Brittany, it is great to see you again. I'm really interested to get your thoughts on this because LA used to be home to you. What are your initial thoughts about this race?
So, first of all, I was born and raised outside of Los Angeles. Then I spent my entire adult life in Los Angeles. I was a TV journalist for CBS News LA for all of Los Angeles as a TV journalist as well. So I know this city through and through. We had left a year after the Palisades fires, but I even lived in the Pacific Palisades for years. So yes, I know this city so well. I love this city. And although we left for Florida a couple of years ago, the fact that critics are saying what they're saying about Pratt couldn't be further from the truth. This city needs Pratt. They need Pratt for this job. The fact that they're saying that he lacks any kind of governmental politics or knowledge, let's be real here. Karen Bass, what she did during the leadership and government leadership, right? I just don't know why people are saying this, but this is all they have to go with because they're getting scared. Now, I am scared of one thing. There's a lot of Dems and liberals in Los Angeles, and we're really going to see, we're just weeks away for this mayoral race to happen. But obviously, I am for Pratt. I think he's the best man for the job, and I really hope we see him win.
It's interesting because from where I'm sitting here in Sydney, Australia, you can see that his campaign is getting a lot of attention, which suggests that maybe LA is open to alternatives and the lefties that have been ruining the place. Viral in his recent campaign showing LA streets being washed down.
I
met him. He got my number. I got his number.
What do you mean you got your number?
Yeah, he got my number. You can record me. I met him at the Plaza Olvera, the Mayor's Day, because the corrupt Karen Bass came after me. I'm an activist. She sent her little goo-goo.
Look, I think it's fair to say that his campaign videos are certainly cutting through. But of course, the big question is, will this social media hype and, of course, plenty of big names coming out and supporting him, will they translate to votes, do you think, Brittany?
I mean, one hopes. I think one of his biggest appeals is the fact that he's not tied to traditional politics. And the way that he's been campaigning, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of politicians do this in the future, whether it's local politics or on a national level. I think it's genius. As someone who has lived in Los Angeles for so many years, I saw firsthand of the degrade of the city. This is one of the most geographically and aesthetically, it is turned to a bad word that starts with S and it ends with T. Okay, so we have seen this, and let's keep in mind this is one of the highest taxed cities in the world as well. Yet we're seeing homelessness everywhere, potholes, as was just mentioned. You know, highest in rents and highest in taxes, and the fact that, yeah, one of the water reservoirs that I lived right next to had been empty for a good year prior to the fires. So, I mean, there's so many questions. And I think that one of the biggest appeals, like I said, is the fact that he's not this traditional politician, because the traditional politicians have completely ours.
Absolutely right. And Karen Bass has just shown how incompetent she really is, particularly over those wildfires, which we've spoken about in detail. So Spencer Pratt, he's up against Karen Bass and Nithya Raman. This is Nithya's awkward attempt to attack Spencer Pratt.
You know, I think I will say, as my husband works in videos in a city that is the core of our entertainment industry, feels deeply insulting to so many workers across this city.
He would say he's just sharing out other people's AI videos, and that's not what he's
doing.
Sure. Yeah.
But, you know, I would also say that, you know, I think the kind of language that he
But I think one of the reasons that people are drawn to him, though, is that he, as you say, he's not speaking like a politician. He's lived through the disaster under Karen Bass.
Look, I also feel AI is our future, and the way these videos, that what we're seeing and how they're campaigning, we're going to see on a larger plan. But going back to her, she's a socialist. Let's just get this right. What country in the world that has turned to socialism is excelling right now and doing well? I'll sit and wait, because we'll be here all night. If you can come up with a city that is actually doing really well right now, once they've turned into a socialist country. Our city, Los Angeles, is already seeing it go to that bad word.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It'll be fascinating to see what unfolds in the next few weeks and months. Let's talk about President Trump and JD Vance. They've launched what the White House is calling a full-scale war on fraud. The White House task force to eliminate fraud, so it, of course, aims to root out all the waste, the exploitation of government programs. Here's JD Vance today at this roundtable speaking about fraud.
I think the theme here of the anti-fraud task force up to this point has really been that we're protecting two classes of victims here. We're protecting the American taxpayers who shouldn't have their money stolen by fraudsters. And of course, we're protecting the people who need these services. Fraud is not a victimless crime. This is not somebody, otherwise it's not a big deal. This is people who rely on critical services, students who rely on student loan services, sick people who rely on hospice care, a number of small businesses who rely on the availability of these loans so that they can grow their business and hire people. All of these people, all of our fellow Americans have been taken advantage by fraudsters, and
So JD said today that in 2 months they've exposed billions of dollars in benefits that have been stolen from the American people. Stephen Miller also said that the scale of the welfare fraud is so massive that eliminating it alone could actually balance the entire federal budget. That really puts it into perspective for you.
I mean, absolutely smart to try and do this. I'm going to just throw out a couple numbers for you. So 105 billion tied to alleged post-COVID relief fraud, 22 billion in small business loan fraud, 6.3 billion in potentially fraudulent government contracts. I mean, and it goes on and on and on with these numbers. So this is something to really think about. And as they always do, that's JD Vance and Trump with this. But I think that they're prioritizing, the good people out there who are not doing fraud. So let's really figure this out. And I think it's great. I think this is a beautiful thing. I'm happy to see this.
Yeah, and I think so many Americans should be happy to see this. I mean, it's about time, really, when you just look at the board has been exposed now, that it's great that this task force is underway. Let's turn to the conflict in the Middle East. As we know, the media and the Democrats have essentially been saying that Iran is winning, from day one, since the day this operation started and Iran's supreme leader was killed. Now, Trump posted today, if Iran surrenders, admits their air force is no longer with us, and if their entire military walks out of Tehran, weapons dropped and hands held high, each shouting, I surrender, while wildly waving the white flag, and if their entire remaining leadership signs all necessary documents of surrender and admit their defeat to the great power and force of the magnificent USA, the failing New York Times, Wall Street Journal, corrupt and now irrelevant CNN, and all other members of the fake news media will headline that Iran had a brilliant victory over the United States of America. It wasn't even close. The Democrats and media have totally lost their way. They have gone absolutely crazy. President Donald J. Trump. I read this and I thought, he absolutely has a point, because when you just look at the media's Brittany, what's your assessment of it all?
I mean, listen, we're both journalists and we have seen mainstream media and how they cover and twist the narrative and expose their agenda to make it look, exactly what he just said, essentially. He's so brilliantly, I know a lot of people are going to say that I'm wrong, but he's so brilliantly somehow have to laugh. I do think, though, the goal is going to be to end this war.
I cry in the shower, but the tears blend in, so the bitch don't know I'm crying.
Yeah, you've been boxed so long, so I think it's hard when you stop, right?
Yeah, I fell in love with boxing before I fell in love with a woman, man.
You can turn your newsletter into an actual business. You just need to stop using 5 platforms to do what one was
$30. That's the number a growing number of XRP analysts are putting on the board for the next major cycle peak. And before you click on the number on crypto Twitter, I want to show you the actual math behind it. Because a $30 XRP is not a random number. It's not a feeling. It is a specific projection tied to a specific Bitcoin price, a specific Satoshi value on the XRP to Bitcoin chart, and a specific specific reading of how in its history. Is it guaranteed? No. Is it crazy? Also no. So let's actually look at what it would take. That's the video. No date guarantee, no bottom calls, just the framework for understanding why $30 is in the conversation and what conditions have to hold for this to happen. So XRP has a circulating supply of around 62 billion tokens. At $30 per XRP, that's a market cap of roughly 1.7 trillion. Now, before you get all crazy, say market cap doesn't matter. Look, that's what everyone is using right now on any of these tracking websites. So we're going to run with it for the time. I get what you're saying. I've made videos on this, but just stay with me. Now, is 1.7 trillion a lot? Well, let's benchmark it real quick. Bitcoin's market cap peaked around 2 trillion in the last cycle. Gold's total market cap's around 20 trillion. The global remittance market alone moves over 800 billion per year. Tens of trillions of dollars annually. Ripple. They just acquired a prime brokerage that clears I don't want to say three, we'll say trillions annually. It's building a national trust bank. It has 70 billion in payment volume with a $1 billion market cap in just under a year. So the question for $30 is that the market cap physically possible? It clearly is. The question is whether demand ever reaches a level that actually justifies it. And that demand question, XRP's price history, it's not random. It has followed a remarkably consistent pattern tied to Bitcoin's halving cycles. Let me give you the numbers. In the 2017 bull run, 0.006 to $3.84. That's a peak gain of about 640 times. In 2021, hamstrung by the SEC's lawsuit and delisting from major U.S. exchanges, even some international exchanges, which didn't make sense, XRP still went from 17 cents, that's right, all the way up to $1.96. Even under those conditions, even with Coinbase and Kraken and Gemini delisting it, it still did an 11x. Now, the SEC case. The delistings have been reversed. XRP ETFs are live and pulling in record inflows. The regulatory environment in 2027 and 2028, it will look nothing like 2021. The 2028 halving cycle, Bitcoin's fourth halving, is the macro engine that multiple analysis are pointing to for the next major expansion. Next base of roughly $1 to $1.50, and it performs even modestly compared to its historical cycle multipliers. You start to see how numbers like 10, 15, 20, even 30 end up in the conversation. Now, is history guaranteed to repeat? No. But does it rhyme? It has. And it has rhymed. So here's the piece that most people miss when they talk about XRP price targets. And I want to spend a minute on it because it's actually important. The $30 projection, and I showed it to you in the last video from the analyst I'm referenced to, Dr. Cat, isn't referencing it in a dollar price. It's a Satoshi price, specifically 12,000 Satoshi. Now that is combined with a Bitcoin price of approximately $250,000. So you're probably thinking, no, but why does that matter? Why does Bitcoin's price matter? Simple. Because XRP's dollar price is a function of two things. It's Bitcoin's value and Bitcoin's dollar price. If you the math compounds at 12,000 satoshis and $250,000 Bitcoin, the math is simple. 12,000 divided by 100,000 times that by the price of Bitcoin, 250,000 gives you your XRP price of $30. If Bitcoin reaches 300,000, that reading, Satoshi reading, would put XRP at $36. If Bitcoin only reaches, say, 150,000, which, think about it, last all-time high was 126. Bitcoin's going to make a new all-time high. More ETF volumes, more ET coming out there, more institutional demand, 50K. So it barely makes a new all-time high by about what? 2-3, by about 24,000, am I math right? Yeah, 24,000. And only gets to 150K. You're looking at an $18 XRP. Now, the 250,000 Bitcoin target's not a fringe call. It's within the range of serious cycle-based projections for the 2027-2028 timeline. Multiple models here using stock to flow and having cycle patterns put Bitcoin's peak in that zone or even slightly higher. Now, the key insight is this. If you're bullish on Bitcoin's next cycle and you believe XRP will reach Bitcoin, which it has done in previous cycles, that $30 is not wild. It's arithmetic. The more interesting question is, will XRP outperform or underperform Bitcoin in the next cycle? And that's where Ripple's infrastructure story becomes the differentiator. Here's where the fundamental story actually connects to the price target. And this is the part I find generally compelling. The argument for XRP outperforming in the next cycle, it isn't just technical, it's structural. Ripple has spent 2024 and 2025 building the exact capital needs to move into XRP.
This is Luke and Ann, who spent a lifetime saving for retirement, but living off those savings. Scary. Scary. With their advisor Matt's plan, Earn and Save became Invest and Spend. And now
we're getting a lot more enjoyment out of life.
JP Morgan.
The legal AI company Legora enhances research effectiveness by finding and analyzing documents in your internal databases. Trusted legal content from publishers and citing relevant precedent in seconds instead of hours. You're welcome, Legora.
Next season in Montreal. One island, 6 challengers, and tons of je ne sais quoi. David, Sophie, Bagel, Tripper, Vanessa and Tommy, the Vlogtrotters. Montreal is a summer playground, but who will find its hidden gems? The 72-hour challenge begins. The clock is ticking. There's tons to see, and nothing is deja vu. Buckle up. Everyone's aiming for the top. But hey, summer here? These challengers can't get enough. Giddy up. The game is on, and this playground's massive. Next season starts now. It's time to show up.
One of the big catalysts, you see it on your screen. Formerly Hidden Road is now the first crypto-owned global prime brokerage. It cleared $3 trillion annually before Ripple bought them out. Client collateral here has doubled since closed. 60 million average daily transactions. RLUSD. Trust over $1 billion in market cap in under a year, and BNY Mellon holds the reserves. The OCC conditionally approved Ripple's National Trust Bank Charter. The Genius Act passed. The Clarity Act is on the Senate legislation's calendar right now. Every one of these are regulated institutions, the big money, your pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, bank treasury desks, to interact with XRP and RLUSD. And institutional capital entering a market with XRP's relatively small supply, it creates outsized price moves. Now, I want you to remember, in previous cycles, no ETFs, no prime brokerage, no federal bank charter, no stablecoin, no SEC clarity, and it still moved 11x. The question for the next cycle is, with all of this infrastructure in place, does XRP finally break the pattern of underperforming Bitcoin? And if it does, that is the $30 bull case. And let me be direct about the risk, because they're real, everyone. First, timeline. The analyst who published this specific target says the expansion phase most likely begins no earlier than September of next year. That means if you enter today, you're potentially looking at 15-month moves. This is generally painful to hold through, and most people won't do it, I'll tell you right now. Second, the Bitcoin dependency. If Bitcoin has a cycle that underperforms expectations, and say it tops only at 100K instead of 250, the same 12,000 Satoshi reading would only deliver $30. Third, your macro wild card. Regulations can go the wrong way. A major Genius Act reversal, a global financial crisis, a black swan. Any of these can compress the timeline. Even the most optimistic near-term models have XRP at $1.26 to $1.46 range through most of June. Sideways is your best case. Nobody's calling a moonshot this month. If they are, they're trying to sell you something. This is a clear bear. We've been in a bear. I called the bear 8 months ago, but people see high, attractive price targets, which you all got let down from your other people that you listen to or follow. We keep it real around here, folks. That's what we do. There's no need to lie. It's easier to hold through this nonsense that we're seeing right now if you understand where the price is headed. I've already told you Q4 this year. Q3 begins next month. And fourth, nobody can call a bottom. Let's just be honest about that. The $1.03 support it might hold. XRP might dip to 90 cents. Maybe it dips to 80 cents. Or it might bounce from here where we are today, $1.12, and never touch $1.03 at all. The chart is probability framework. It is not a crystal ball. Look, if the $30 scenario plays out in years, the way to maximize that is to hold securely and tax efficiently. Why I promote I Trust Capital is why I partnered up with them. Hold your XRP inside a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. Use my link down below. They'll even give you bonus money. It's free to set up. It's free to get going. It's free every single month. There's not any charges on it. XRP Go, that is a very different financial outcome than taxable brokerage. Not financial advice, never is, never will be. Just how I personally structure my position, especially my long-term holdings. Now let me give you the one-line version of this whole video, okay? $30 XRP requires Bitcoin to hit close to 240. Satoshi value on the XRP to Bitcoin pair and the Ripple infrastructure build out generating real institutional demand, folks. That's the catalyst. Real demand from the institutions. We don't have it yet. All converging within the next 6 months to year. Those are the three big them. We need to look and pay attention to see how this all unfolds. And that's the thing about high conviction long-term positions. They're not built on certainty, they're built on probability. Weighted outcomes where the upside, if right, is large enough to justify the risk of being wrong. That's not financial advice. That's just how risk reward works. Everyone's trying to time the bottom. Does it really? And it's going to go to double digits. The answer is no. No one can time a bottom. Dollar cost average is your best friend. I've been buying crypto every single week for the past 8 years. Every week. It's on set and forget. The bank account's linked up to the exchange. It buys on every single Monday. So I don't have to remember. It works. DCA works, folks. My dollar cost average, it's up over the past 8 years because it works. What I encourage you to do is look at the XRP to Bitcoin chart yourself. Look at the Ichimoku cloud on the 2-month time frame. Look at Ripple's actual infrastructure, the prime brokerage, and decide for yourself whether the setup makes sense for your situation. It's your timeline and your risk tolerance. No dates, no bottom calls, and hey, no promises. Tell me in the comments, do you think $30 XRP happens this cycle? And if so, what's your timeline? Because I want to know. I'm always watching. I'm always looking. Subscribe if you want to track this story as it develops, because it's going to develop on the next one.
In New York,
I have all their secrets. From Steven Spielberg.
That truth will upend all established order across the entire world.
You don't need to fear them.
I fear us.
This culture day, rated PG-13. Get tickets now.
Would describe TechStage as the one and only place to help you build your brand.
Everybody trying to come to Houston, everybody keep making these TikTok videos. Main thing y'all leaving out is the people who live in Houston that you're going to have to run into. We are the final bosses. Hey.
Have no business at spring break. Spring break, it's time to look in the mirror.
No cap though, bro. No, fuck 25, gang. Listen, 22. If you are over the age of 22, that means you're not in college years no more, bro. You're no longer in college. You see what I'm saying? At 22 years old, the average person who was in college has graduated and went to graduate school. Spring break is for high school kids and fucking college kids, bro. At the most, bro. If you 22 and older, bro, you ain't supposed to be celebrating no motherfucking spring break. What's wrong with y'all? It's some of you niggas is 29, 30 years old in the club for spring break. Bro, go to work. Some of y'all niggas got kids and shit. You ain't like, what's going on? Excuse my, you feel me? I'm going through a little sickness, so I might sound like that a little bit. No, for real though. Fill out the job, y'all. And look, Prime and Dre, when I'm heavy. But niggas gotta understand, gang. We got, as a black community, we gotta stop maturing so late. It's time to say F the club. Y'all niggas supposed to be building assets and have kids, bro. Y'all not supposed to be partying in the club every fucking weekend. Going to spring break parties, bro. Y'all supposed to be stacking y'all bread, getting y'all real estate, getting y'all stocks, getting y'all crypto. You feel me? Getting y'all shit together so that you can have kids and provide for your family. Fo, you ain't supposed to, what the fuck? What's going on?
Grown ass man break.
Shout out to you with this man. Hey.
Okay, Okay, so around this time of year, a lot of y'all that are maybe around 18 to 23 years old, y'all are getting prepared or y'all are already prepared for spring break. We all know what spring break is. Everybody's outside, but it's meant for certain age groups. I mean, let's be real. It's specifically for college students.
Exactly. Maybe high school kids who want to party with some older kids, but folk, if your ass don't have a spring, you're not in school, bro. There is no spring break. You're not in school. What fucking spring break is you on? There is no spring break, folks. Y'all niggas just outside trying to fuck on young hoes. That shit is weird, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Break literally stands for a break in classes. It is not for grown-ass men pushing 30 and 40 years old.
Everybody trying to come to Houston. Everybody keep making these TikTok videos about coming to Houston, this and that, and try to have fun with you. The main thing y'all leaving out is the people who live in Houston that you're going to have to run into. You are the final bosses.
Weirdo. Okay, that is 100% the cringiest shit I will hear all year.
Bro,
Now,
I gotta put that on the soundboard, bro. Weirdo. I gotta put.
Name is Prime. He's a streamer, right? I don't know who the buddy is with the black bandana on. Respectfully,
Dre,
these
man.
niggas look like they're pushing 40 years old, bro. And they also look like they just got released from prison. Talking about they're the spring break final bosses? Nigga. What? He said we're outside, kiss your goodbye? Bro, these niggas are at least 30. Bro, the average age of somebody that's supposed to be at spring break
21, 22,
is 20 years old.
Right.
Because if you're like 22 or 23, okay, you're maybe
19.
like 18 or 19. That's fine.
I went to spring break. I celebrated spring break 2 times in my entire life. The first time was 2018, shorty. It was March of 2018. I was 19. I was going to turn 20 later that year. Okay? The second time, I ain't go back to spring break. Okay? YouTube, and I first started getting rich shit. I was 23 that year. In March, I was 23. I ain't been to spring break since, bro. I'm 27 now. I have not been on no spring break celebration. I ain't been to I haven't been to a party or a club or a function in 4 years. 7 years old. I locked in on my money. I got my wife. It's time to start having some kids around this motherfucker in a minute. You see what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all. This is my clothing brand. I need y'all to go support your boy, okay? And support your boy with some pretty cheap clothing, all right? And you're going to be fly and fresh as hell, man, all right? Link in the description. Us. Some whole. I'm on some man shit, bro, and I'm only 27. Some of these niggas older than me. This ain't what's supposed to be going on,
Why
bro.
are grown men with families and gray hair talking
Gray
about
hair,
their spring break bosses? Weirdos.
Hey, kiss it goodbye. This already solidified for us on this motherfucking spring break this year. Because last year was like, we're not even going to do it. When they made an announcement and said this shit was in Houston.
And bro, that's another thing. How is the location of spring break decided every year? Why do y'all niggas treat this like it's the All-Star game or something?
I don't know.
Men be taking this way. Is there something I don't know about? Respectfully, I'm a grown man.
It's in Houston because Miami. I live in Miami, so Miami stopped playing with that shit. Like niggas, like even when I was out here, 22, that's 4 years ago. They ain't letting niggas just ride around in cars, hanging out the cars, talking to hoes, smoking blunts. They ain't letting that shit fly no more because it was too much. But 18, I was 19 years old. It was cool. It was smooth. Like it wasn't nothing crazy going on. When I came back in 2022, 4 years later. niggas was shooting and shoot. I went to jail. Niggas was getting shot. It was like, man, that shit was capped, bro. Like, you feel me? Like, it's dead, gang. Y'all gotta find something better to do.
Pushing 30. I don't know anything about spring break anymore.
So we've been seeing all the TikTok videos about spring break in Houston. But y'all forgot one thing. Us, the final bosses. You wanna mess with a boss, baby? Listen to that. And we here. So like, if she took, but if your girl coming to Houston for spring break, just go. She come to the city, she get hit. Come to the okay then, man. Telling you. And listen, last year we tried to stay out of spring break. Hey, please get away from me. Get away from me. When they said it's in Houston, we got a problem. Okay then, man. And listen, and it really like regular to us, cause man, what? Every day spring break to us. It's a party in my city, every night. So like, girl coming to Houston, man, kiss her goodbye. Telling you, you want. You feel what I'm saying? Put it in her stomach. Listen, she gon' get got. She gon' get got. Getting got tonight. You know what I'm saying? She got tonight. You already know how we coming. Bounce that, just like your friend. What you doing? Is you scared? Funny as hell. Give me that. Huh? That's it. We out. We funny as hell. Get active. Man. Off that honey pack. Ready to get off that honey pack. Telling you that honey pack. I don't know how to off that honey pack.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Listen, y'all, like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. If y'all come to Houston for spring break, bro, you the play. Like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. You where you need to be if you looking for what you looking for, bro. But, bruh, you know what's crazy? Even though I Houston, it's spring break every day.
And trust me, there's thousands and thousands of niggas just like this.
No cap,
that plan their entire year. Circle their calendar for this one moment.
No cap.
Whole time these niggas have wives at home, all types of.
They don't have wives at home, but they need them. Listen, this what I be telling. This mature too late. You see what I'm saying? Our women, they don't want to get married until they 35, 34, 33 years old. That's too late, man. And our men, they don't want to get married until they fucking 40 years old. That's too late, bro. Y'all niggas need to stop doing this. Why you think the black people as a community, why you think we at the bottom? Why you think our boys why you think we the number one incarcerated? Why you think we the brokest motherfuckers in this country? Why you think that is, folks? Because we as a black community, we don't give a damn about nothing but fucking hoes, okay, being in the streets, going to clubs, and some designer clothes. We don't care about nothing else, bro. And we the men. We supposed to be leaders. We supposed to be locked in. We supposed to be the ones locked in and leading, gang. The club ain't supposed to be full of no niggas. Period. Y'all niggas supposed to be bettering y'allself, eating better, learning more, reading more, improving your skin, taking communication courses, taking relationship courses, going to therapy. You see what I'm saying? About children and how to raise children. You ain't supposed to be doing this shit, bro. And I've been on that since I was 22, 23, 24 years old. I'm only 27, but think about how many light years I am away of another nigga who 27. Because most niggas, especially black dudes that's 27, they still chasing pussy. I'm gonna say this, and this is gonna be the last time I'm like on my Michael Luther King shit. But, folk, you not supposed to enjoy your 20s, bro. You supposed to be locked in your 20s. You supposed to be building your life and setting yourself up for life in your 20s. Not blowing thousands of dollars at the club and the strip club and shit. You supposed to be setting your... You've got millions of dollars. You on private jets. You on yachts. You doing whatever you want to do now. You got your kids. Your kids already got their college fund. They already got their money. They already got their properties. Your kids is going to be millionaires by the time they 18. You straight. Your wife good. She in Birkin bagged up. Like, you ain't supposed to be like, I don't get it, bro.
But y'all already get...
Twin, where the hell you going? Oh, shit, I finna got that head down there to Houston. What you got? You got some business out there or something? Nigga, for spring break, nigga, I ain't got no business out there. Nigga, spring break is my business. Nigga, you talking about, so I guess it is business. Yeah, spring break.
Spring break, crazy. Like, ain't you too old for that?
Too old. Man. They bitches gotta run through me.
Lord have
I
mercy.
originated to it. All this gotta come through my motherfucking physique. So saying, can't no hoe come through Houston on spring break without passing through me. I've been running for the last 10 years. I've been running shit for the last 10 years. Get what?
Get what?
I'm the final boss. I pass through without getting talked to and goddamn hyped on. Niggas just stupid.
That's another thing. Not just on, it's all niggas though. Like, bro, don't no nigga in the world get this much pussy. Like, you ain't Chris Brown, nigga. Even Chris Brown could DM 1,000 hoes. Only 200 of them gonna actually fly to him and give him some neck. You look at a bitch and she just, because if that's what happened, gang, she doing that for every nigga. You ain't special. That's not how the world goes, bro. Niggas don't have girls like that where it's just like, nigga, you ain't Prince, Michael Jackson and shit, nigga. You feel me? You not LeBron James and shit, nigga. Yeah, you got a cool chain. Girls don't get no fuck about no chain and no Louis Vuitton shirt. Every nigga, you feel?
You the final boss. So yeah, why you graduated from high school and shit?
2010.
Lord have mercy.
Fool. It finna be 18-year-old girls out there.
Right.
She leave, ain't it?
Call for help.
Oh my God.
You finna hold me up. I'm finna go to the road, man. Hey, look, I'm gonna FaceTime you, don't let you know what's going on. You know, I'm finna got that.
Your ass? 41. A grown ass goofy. Remember I just told you, you that old gang, and you still
what did I
keeping up
do?
this.
Spring break, I'm gonna be right. I'm gonna be lit. Chest, body.
Why do you keep saying spring break?
Because, bro.
You're 25, bro.
Ouch!
Hey, bro, you gonna be the oldest nigga on that street.
I'm there, bro.
Niggas is clowned out.
That's for 18-year-olds, bro.
That's for 18-year-olds, bro.
Mental shit, bro. If you feel like you 25,
y'all starting to be like, y'all, you know them niggas that graduate high school? Like, I know y'all know them niggas like you was a sophomore or junior, they school the next day, and you see these niggas hanging out around the school, like, bro, you graduated, bro. Why you still hanging out around high school?
25.
What the fuck you got going on?
Literally, I'm gonna be at spring break until I'm really
Weirdo.
Listen, I'm gonna sit here and say I don't care that y'all. I don't care that prime time Hitler say he the spring break final boss at 27 years old. Because y'all 3 years straight to Miami on spring break.
Bro, don't tell me that dude Dennis's old ass is in Houston.
Dude Dennis old ass in Houston, bro. Dude Dennis is old ass is in Houston with like 6 kids, and you still on spring break talking to hoes, bro. Where your children at, bro? Where your kids at, bro? What the fuck is y'all 30, bro? What is going on, gang? And the problem is, these be the niggas who y'all think cool. But of course, man, Moolah get to be the asshole, cause I'm a keep it a buck. I could love you to death. You could be my best friend, my brother, my anybody, gang. I'm gonna keep it a buck, folks. If Duke Dennis was my homie, I could have grew up with that nigga for 30 years straight. I'm gonna call him and be like, bro, get your old ass back. Go see your kids, gang. Why is you out here in spring break? These little girls 19, 20, 21, 22. You feel me? These little girls 18, 19 years old, folks. Go home, gang. I know older niggas like younger women. I know younger women like older niggas. But you ain't supposed to be meeting them on spring break, nigga. Go on Instagram.
Nigga is everywhere except for with his kids.
No cap, though.
I don't know. All right, lad, I was hearing about Dom, but
I ain't going out. It's all them little spring break kids and shit. I'm gonna head to my B&B and then I'm gonna leave in the morning.
Sure.
I'm finna leave. Why you about to leave? Because it's spring break. I came for the rodeo. Okay. Home. South Carolina. No, but you don't exit home yet. No.
Yo, how long you been out here, though? That's the real question.
About 2 hours. 2 hours. About 2 hours. So look.
You know, people that spent their hard-earned money been here for 2 months, but all week.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? I didn't come for spring break.
Okay. Bro, we got Duke Dennis at spring break. And you know the spawn out of nowhere.
You know that.
Like, this shit is not even fair anymore, bro. Imagine being like a 19 or 20-year-old kid, bro.
Man.
You gotta compete with rich niggas like this. This is why I say this is the end of...
And that's why I said, that's what I noticed that shit when we was 10 years old, bro. And I went to spring break. All the girls out there was 19. All the niggas out there was 19. But I ain't gonna lie, though. I'm gonna keep it $150 with y'all. I seen some old ass niggas out there too. Y'all know Hitman Holla and Conceited from Wild 'N Out. I seen them niggas on spring break talking to hoes. Full goddammit, sleeves of tattoos, riding around in Bentleys talking to the young hoes. Like, bro, this supposed to be for the broke ass college. Let the broke college kids do their thing, bro. Y'all out here tweaking.
Spring break.
Ain't no harm in wandering. There's a bounty of fresh produce delivered daily for the taking. Fresh.
Something new in every aisle. It's an Aldi thing.
Dentures with industry-leading warranties. Aspen Dental. It's time to smile again.
My shop is officially live.
Real deal. Y'all is out here tweaking.
Man, D Green.
Wow, the
son of my dog D Green. Shout out to D Green, eh?
Thank you.
Bro, regular college spring break anymore, bro. Bro, most of the time, these college kids don't even have bread like that, bro. I'm speaking from self-experience. Like, you're locked in on getting your education, but then you finally get a chance to take a break, have some fun, party, and you know, just pick up some to compete with grown-ass men with salaries. Like,
Salaries,
it's not even
bro.
fair, bro.
Salaries, full beards, full sleeves of tattoos. Y'all, man, that shit ain't right.
Everybody trying to come to Houston. Everybody be making these TikTok videos about coming to Houston, this and the third, trying to get up with these and shit like that and try to have fun with these. The main thing y'all leaving out is the people who live in this. Goodbye. Hey, kiss her goodbye. This little five for us on this. Me and Trey tried our best not to even participate in spring break this year. Because last year was like, we're not even going to do it. When they made an announcement and said this shit was in Houston, it's like, nah, I ain't going to lie. Listen, like, bro, I'm not... You the play, like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. You where you need to be if you looking for what you looking for, bro. But...
I mean, pause.
Bruh.
Why are you laughing? You one of them. No, I'm not.
Yes, you are,
bro. No, I'm not. I know I ain't got no business,
bro.
Bro,
What do you mean?
I'm going for my niece and nephew, gang. I'm not going to party, gang.
Fresh out of jail, bro. Tell me I'm lying. These niggas just got done doing burpees and then recorded this video. I don't trust no nigga that wears gray wife beaters. Weird. Y'all are talking about spring break? What are we talking about, bro?
You ain't got no damn niece and nephew.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm getting paid to be in the spot. You think I'm gonna be at some... You think I'm finna be in doing what? I need a cigar and some dark liquor, whiskey or something, nigga, with one big ass ice cube, straight. That's what I be on. I'm grown folk, man.
It's cool, bro. You wanna be young.
You said you was going to Houston with me.
I'm not going to Houston. I'm not going to Houston, bro. I'm cool, bro.
Hold on.
I know my age, nigga. Like, I know I'm too old to be there.
No cap, no.
I'm chilling. Catch me at a bar.
Bro, I literally got a clip of you saying, bro, we going to Houston, gang. Wait, what? Wait, what? DDG phone. You know that AI pick up whatever we think we talk about. All I gotta do is see.
I ain't never said that shit.
You ain't never said that?
Hell no.
I hope you right, gang. Oh yeah? And it just happened to be.
We just say some shit like, we got family. I did say that shit.
Oh yeah. I got family and shit down there. They off, so I told them I'd come down there and spend a little time with them.
Yeah, that's what we gotta say.
Yeah, we definitely not down there like kicking it party or nothing. It's just really making sure the kids good.
No. If we end up stepping out, the little cousin told me to pull up, make sure it's safe.
Exactly, I'm damn near. Usually I need security. Now I'm their security.
Nigga, what you said was worse.
Did y'all hear DD, y'all? He gave the suggestions. Oh, shit.
Listen. Obviously, if I go to Houston, it'll be for content, but that's just not my content.
Nah, bro.
I'm a grown-ass man. I have no business at spring break. If you're over the age of 25, you go to spring break, it's time to look in the mirror, nigga.
23. Bro.
My thing is, what the do niggas be breaking from?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You don't have no break, bro. So what the fuck you on spring break? If you don't have, there's no break. You don't have a break. You got bills. Spring break. You understand? It's spring. Ooh. Your ass ain't in no school. You ain't at the age to be in no school. So take your ass home.
She ain't got no school.
Niggas ain't never went to school.
Real job.
Ain't even got a real job.
Right.
What you done took a break from selling weed for the week? That little zip. Man, I'm finna take off. Don't call me for nothing all week.
It's motherfucking college students that really need this shit.
Right.
Y'all buying up the tables.
Right. Help.
Oh yeah, give me in that big table until tomorrow, man. We're gonna be up through there.
Oh nah, I'm cool.
Come on.
All right, boys, what are we thinking? Fort Lottie? Like, I would do a house in Miami. FSU's on break next week, so...
Break? No. Dude, we have full-time jobs. Yeah, my wife's family's in town next week.
Squirrel's gonna be there. My boy Pothole, his boy Decaf. Everyone's going.
Are these real names?
Yes, these are my pledge brothers. You know that.
It's Artie's real name?
No, you went in a
You went to
frat.
the
Yeah, but now I buy them beer and they let me party with them.
Why are you buying college-age kids beer? What are you doing?
You didn't want to go to Sibs. It doesn't matter. Doorhinge's brother is a sophomore.
All right.
I met some chicks at Block. They said they were down to party with us in Lottie if I bought them some Kahlua.
Stop saying Lottie.
Whatever. I'm done. Done convincing.
Okay, great. Are you guys going to Jimmy's wedding May 18th?
Yeah, of course. It's prom weekend.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Dude.
Excuse me? Prom weekend?
Why is that a bad thing?
Police! Freeze!
Now I understand a lot of content. What does your content have to do with the fact that most of these people are in their young 20s? If you're a content creator, you have to understand, once you turn 25, you need to start a family channel.
All I'm saying, bro.
Yo, I'm celebrating my 10th spring break in Houston. I don't care, bro. Niggas try to send me clips, all this. I don't give a bro. I'm gonna be in that. I'm taking all the tables from the college kids. I don't give a and I'm throwing hundreds in their faces. I don't give a work your way up in life, bro. I'm there in Houston from the 13th to the 18th, man. Holla at me, bro. Spring break, whoa!
Weirdo.
If I didn't get booked, I went no cigar lounges and play golf.
But if you're going there, Guys, be safe. It's gonna be a lot of people. You know, a lot of people usually turn into something. If you see somebody fighting, make sure you go the opposite way. Don't try to get a video.
I'm telling you,
run, nigga. Might start shooting.
What? We need to get bro a bomb. We need to get Darnell. Darnell need to get a bomb, bro. For that one. That's real shit. That's real advice, nigga. Y'all in spring break, everybody want to be cool. Ooh, they fighting. Look, they get it in. But, how the hell that? Well, you should have took your ass the other way. Recording, nigga, you need to be running. You was tripping.
Yeah, what?
Listen, my advice to y'all, I don't know what type of advice that was, but my advice to y'all
that was some good advice.
If you go out there, always think in numbers. 1 in 3 people in there is burning.
That's some great advice.
Yeah, that's facts, though. No. You know how they say, look to your neighbor? It's only 3 of y'all when you got neighbors. 1 of y'all is burning out of the 3. And so remember that. So if you're going to try to mix, you might multiply it now 6. Now 3 out of 6 is the same number. You know that somebody in the vicinity of you is burning. And you might be next.
Now, there's going to be a lot of people getting burnt in Houston.
Yeah.
Houston,
why not you?
Miami too, nigga.
We are the final bosses.
We trolling, we having fun.
Sure.
Y'all already know that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't like it. I'd have been called 30. I'm not 30. I'd have been called 40, 50, a lame, corny. What else? It's women on TikTok making videos like I'm predating little girls because I'm break. They don't know us, chat. They don't know how when I make that voice, man, I just said the final bar. Like they don't know that they don't know that that's trolling.
Now supposedly he's trolling.
Just shampoo like you do. Try Just for Men Control GX Gray Reducing Shampoo.
For free. Access over 2,800 clubs and recover in the Black Card Spa. Get the Planet Fitness Black Card for $1 down, $29.99 a month.
Join Planet Fitness today and reach your fitness goals.
This could be the moment. And England scores!
When the world gathers for big moments, they turn to YouTube. Because here, fans aren't just immersed in the game, but in everything around it. Now, your business can be discovered at the heart of it all, from the small screen to the big one. Bring your business to where the world is watching. YouTube. Get started today on Google Ads.
You probably are trolling, bro. But the thing I think that everybody is concerned with is that we know 9 times out of 10 y'all gonna go out for spring break. Y'all gonna be outside. You see what I'm saying? It's like, even if you troll, see, this what I be telling niggas about trolling. Like, okay, you could troll, bro, but if you trolling, you have to accept what come with trolling. If you trolling, you can't expect everybody to think you trolling. You see what I'm saying? Because we know y'all some club niggas. We know y'all some niggas always doing this, always in the club, always doing that, always outside. We know that y'all them type of niggas. So then when you say something like spring break, it's like, okay, niggas is gonna think that y'all dead ass serious, bro. Niggas is gonna think that y'all really finna be outside on spring break as grown ass niggas.
Right, nigga, we know you were dead ass serious. But I also know that you called off of work and cleared your entire schedule for spring break, bro. You're the final boss, right?
So you not going?
No.
So we need to cancel that big ass house we had and all the liquor.
Yeah, I was never going to Houston, bro. Nigga lying.
I'm saying, do I cancel the liquor or just like the crib? I'm sure you can get a refund. You just sent me $1,500 for that house in Houston. So, well, yeah, we'll count. Niggas don't even got no business going out there, bro.
I'm not going to Houston, bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Sure.
They said Didi overly going. What?
You looking for me, baby?
Hell nah, get y'all old ass on.
Hell no.
These niggas pushing
30 and they still outside. Like, start a family.
Nah, for real, man.
Maybe it's time for us to leave spring break to the young.
Just a bunch of old ass niggas that never enrolled in any university. Moral leave spring. You are not enrolled in any school. Stay your ass at home.
Nah, you don't have to be enrolled. See, you don't have to be enrolled. I don't think it's nothing wrong. Because if you're 19 and you ain't in school because you went to trade school, or you could be a 19-year-old rapper or a 19-year-old YouTuber. Go have fun, bro. Do whatever you want to do. You ain't got to be in school. I know, full fucking beard, full sleeve, tattoos. You see what I'm saying? You 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 years old. Like, bro.
My husband just wasn't lasting long enough for me to finish. It was frustrating. I love him, but it got to a B. And then he got prescribed the SexRx plus Climax Control pill through Hims. This pill combines tadalafil, an ingredient to help men get hard and stay hard, with PE treatment to help him last way longer. And the best part, it's 100% online, no doctor's office, no pharmacy runs, just a simple intake form, and then a licensed provider recommended. And now he's lasting longer, he's more confident, and we're actually excited to be intimate again. So if you're struggling with early climax, check out treatments through Hims today. It's seriously saved our sex life.
Here's a meat gold mine over there. Premium cuts, without the premium cost. Grass-fed.
Something new in every aisle. It's an Aldi thing.
This guy will go into a corner store with HD cameras without a mask on and then commit a murder only minutes later. Six also killed J. Sean Francis, and after he killed him, he got caught on surveillance with the same outfit on.
Of course, this got caught on surveillance, and then he got one foot on, one shoe on. Like, what kind of dumb nigga do you gotta be, bro? Moolah gang with y'all long. We back with another one. As soon as they thought it wasn't gonna beat another one, man. Let's.
March 7th, 2019.
Another body on camera.
The suspects will pull up in a vehicle at a gas station in the 2000 block of West 63rd Street. They would drive through the gas station.
So this like the west side.
Out. After they was done scoping it out, they parked their car in the alley and walked up and shot Gregory A. Jennings.
Oh, yep, that was him because he had two niggas. They parked the car in the alley and came this way.
Walked up and shot Gregory A. Jennings, 23 years of age.
They saw him. They saw him. Must have ran him down.
He was struck in the chest and was taken
they
to
ran
the
him down and got up out of there quick
Center,
too.
where he later died. With this next murder,
And he had a Drake on him or something. He had a Glock in his hand, Glock 19, like holding something, like he holding a little ARP or something.
Corner surveillance.
Offender with noticeable limp, and he wearing a black sock on his right foot.
This guy will go into a corner store with HD cameras without a mask on, and then commit a murder. Only minutes later, it was June 20th,
Why did he got one sock on?
19-year-old Roy Battle will walk into a store at around 5 p.m.
Maybe he just got jumped. He lost his shoe trying to get up out of there, and maybe he was like, I ain't for none of that. Grabbed the pipe and went and did his business. I think, I don't know.
Block of South Lula Avenue. As you can see in the video, you can see his face clear as day.
Right.
And as soon as he walked out of the store, he committed a murder, killing 16-year-old Charles. And after he killed him, he got caught on surveillance with the same outfit on.
Of course, he got caught on surveillance, and then he got one foot on, one shoe on. Like, what kind of dumb nigga do you gotta be, bro? You got on one shoe. You was just on camera with the same outfit on, with no mask on, clear as day. Two people run and think you gonna not get caught?
This murder after some police around the area recognized them and some people tipped the police off. This next homicide happened on February 25th, 2020. As 3 men will walk up to the store in the 7900 block of South, guns out and start shooting inside the store. 2 men were shot, ages 19 and 63. Plus 2 girls were shot, ages 18 and 17. The 18-year-old girl, Jaya Bayman, was shot in the neck and didn't make it.
According to the detectives, I think I heard about her. She was the king, right?
For a young man inside the store. This next, this guy.
But that's what, like. You ran up like you was just the most savagest fucking serial murder kill savage demon, right? You ran up like you was finna wreak havoc, right?
Store. 2 men were shot.
Then you slowed down and stopped. What does that tell me right now? That automatically tell me, and you really don't want to do what you think you gotta do because you want to be a savage so bad, and it's weird. Cause if your op is right there in the store, why you ain't walk in there and handle your business and get up out of there? Why are you blinking at somebody from all the way back here? That's like you hate on a nigga from outside the club, you can't even get in, folks. That don't make no sense.
19 and 17. The 18-year-old girl, Jaya Bayman, was shot in the neck and didn't.
Then you hitting innocent girls?
The detectives, the gunmen were aiming for a young man inside the store. This next murder, this guy would get caught on surveillance too. It was March 7th,
yeah, we did a reaction on this a long time ago.
As you can see in the video, 2 males will walk up to this store in the 6600 guy walking out of the store. This guy's name is Marnell Biggs, 20 years of age. He would end up walking in the corner store and getting caught on camera in HD.
Stupid ass. You can see they got dreads on, they got the bubble coat on, they got a pipe on their waist. They think they that. Yeah, I look like Chief Keef. Dork.
He would then walk out of the store and walk approximately 1 block, then come back and speak to the victim. After speaking to him, he would shoot him and run off. The guy that he shot was 20-year-old Elijah Suggs. 20-year-old Marnell Biggs.
Why the hell he do that though?
For the murder of him. Talents. So this could definitely be a part 2 video. Let me know in the comments if y'all want to see part 2. But that'll be about it for this video.
I ain't gonna lie. The one thing that I noticed from all these videos, gang, like everybody that got caught on camera in this video is that it's all stupid. Not little bit of small thing to try to not get caught by the police, gang. On the dead guys. Everybody pulled up, no mask on, they catching bodies, they just doing like imagine being the police, folk, and it's your job to catch these ass people and they tell on they self. I see why I'm like Chicago police, one of the easiest jobs ever. You can go be a detective right now and you can solve 13 murders just from people telling on themselves. You don't even gotta do no work, gang. You don't even gotta talk to nobody. Motherfucker ain't gotta do no interviews, no DNA, none of that. Y'all get on and do this on yourself, then go on and about it. Like, how slow do you gotta be, folks? Like, hey, bro, I give y'all one round of applause for one thing, folks. Y'all is so stupid that me and you get to watch these dumb niggas be stupid. That's the only thing they got going for that. They see you do some stupid shit so we can talk about it like this, folks. Am I right or am I wrong, folks? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm up out of here, folks. It's hot as hell in this bitch.
The first victim was 25 years of age and was struck in the arm, leg, and foot. He was taken.
Oh, it seemed like he hopped out. It seemed like somebody said something.
Leg and foot. He was taken to the hospital in good condition. A second victim, 26 years of age.
And they hopped out. And they hopped out deep. 2 cars deep. 5, 6 people. Smoke 4 people.
The 36-year-old victim, who I couldn't find his identity, was struck multiple times in the body.
Woo!
He was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he was pronounced.
Gang, this is caught on camera in Chicago. Oh shit.
Murders get caught on camera in Chicago all the time.
Every day.
From murders happening in broad
every day, boy.
To a guy going inside of a corner store with HD cameras without a mask on and committing a murder minutes later, getting caught on.
Got one with the same outfit on. Like y'all, bro. If you gonna be a criminal, can you at least be a smart one? Can you just take 2 seconds and just think about the crime you about to commit, folks? Cause that nothing irks me more than that, bro. You already stupid as committing crimes. Then you gonna commit the crimes.
Talk about him. At 1 p.m., the surveillance footage will show the suspect shoplifting from a store near the Chatham Village Square Mall in the 7th.
So that's Cottage Grove and 85th and Cottage. Okay, then.
100 block of 87th Street. The victim was a 53-year-old man. It was a verbal altercation with 3 male offenders, and one took out a gun and shot him.
Wait, what? They shot a nigga because they was shoplifting? See what I'm saying? Like, why are you stupid? You just took a shoplifting 1 week in jail charge all the way to an attempted armed robbery that can get you 4 years.
And one female offender, and one of the male suspects